up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Celtic Warrior Shaman.
Soda.
And I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Whoa! Guys, let's do it. I'm ready to go live whenever you are. We're live. Guys, thank you for coming back for our very first episode. That's right. This is Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show. We can't figure this out. I pledge my oath to you that we will never figure it out. Guys, I am at Ref Marsh. I appreciate you coming through, grabbing a stool and pouring a drink to yell about wrestling and to chase down the flavor of Wednesday Night Wrestling. If any there was a night that needed a pickleback, it's last night. I am at Ref Marsh. We got WOTR, the show producer over there, and today is back for the first time of the year, Miss Amanda Jane. Say, hey, what's up? Did you not unmute her?
She is unmuted.
Amanda, are you muted?
Oh, I'm muted. Uh-oh. Hi. Happy New Year.
Don't worry about it. It's the first show.
In my drink, in my non-sponsored Sonic, I think I put too much rum in here. So, sorry.
I was just happy it wasn't me, producer lady.
I was shocked.
Mm-hmm. Party foul.
Don't worry. It's only the first episode. It's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's okay.
Amanda, tell people hi. Introduce yourself.
I did. Hi. Ms. Amanda Jane at Twitter and Instagram, if you guys didn't know. Totally happy to be here with you guys. It's a new year. A lot of new wrestling.
New year, same guests. That's what we do here. Let's see. Amanda, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have any news written down. I didn't find a whole lot except for the one thing that you wanted to bring up, so I don't want to steal your thunder there. Was there any birthdays that we missed?
I don't know.
I thought someone had a birthday.
Yeah, I definitely forgot. I know someone did.
I know Chrissy on Twitter. She sent me a Bailey sweater, so shout out to Chrissy. She's dope, but that's it. I can't remember the other ones. We did my brother already. So let's shoot it over to you. And here's Amanda with the news.
So I know a lot of you right now, it's kind of breaking, kind of not breaking, but
breaking, not breaking.
Officially, New Japan has taken Jay White off of their website. So where he's going might be WWE, because he did repost something with Finn's picture. So
yeah, Finn posted something and he retweeted it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do you think that that's a red herring? Do you think that's part of the work? Or do you think...
I don't know. I don't think he'd really fit in with what AEW has right now. And Impact, he wouldn't go to Impact. And I know he would not go back to ROH. So it kind of has to be WWE.
Why do you think... Well, I mean, I guess maybe it's just speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why he wouldn't? I thought he was friends with the guys in All Elite.
I just don't think... I mean, like right now when you look at their programming, I mean, they brought a lot of pretty big names. But you got to ask yourself, what are they doing with them? So I don't think that he would add anything to the programming.
I agree with that. I actually feel that right now, I think that what AEW really needs to do is try to not be bringing in everyone they can. I feel like their roster is so stacked with talent right now, and they are so young, they don't have the benefit of longevity, because something that WWE and NXT have is that longevity, to where if someone comes in, we're already in the middle of a whole bunch of other stories, and you start going, oh, and now this person's involved here, and you can kind of like see it, but it feels like everybody's kind of starting stop and go when it comes to AEW. Like I think that they should just focus on getting the next couple years out and only sprinkling in people here and there. But because I agree, like what's Miro doing? He's a main event caliber guy, and he's not even always there. He's cutting weird promos. He's dressing kind of I guess how he
Kinda
wants to
weird.
dress, like in his pajamas half the time. I'm also just not good with fashion, so that's not like trying to knock on him. I don't think he looks sloppy or
No.
anything. It just to me looks similar to what I imagine expensive pajamas look like. Maybe he's just comfortable. I don't know, but I agree. I don't know what I don't know what Jay White would do on AEW, but get lost in the mix right now. So
Yeah.
I do think it'd be cool to have him in NXT. To be honest, he seems like a badass.
Yeah, and honestly, like we don't really know what officially AEW is doing with Impact. But I know we'll talk about that when we talk about
That's
Wednesday.
true. We don't know what's going on over at Impact. Also, isn't Jay White? Isn't he the dude who broke JR's ribs?
Ooh. I don't know.
Wasn't that him? I could have sworn that was him. There was a match on like Wrestle Kingdom, and JR had recently had like gotten hurt or something, and they made like a huge stink. Apparently, according to whatever.
I don't think it was.
No, who was it?
I'll have to look that up, but I don't think it was.
Because remember there
It
was
was
like this whole like he doesn't bump, everyone stay away from him, stay away from the table.
Oh,
And
that's
then
right.
And I thought it was Jay White who like just literally like ran and like drop kicked the table, and it like just actually broke his ribs. And he's all like he was all
let's
trying to play it up.
see. You were right. It is him.
Yeah, see, he might
think
have
he
bad
was
blood in
talking to
AEW.
Yeah. Well,
JR might be like, fuck that kid.
maybe that's not his choice. I mean,
That's true
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
I don't know. Well,
So
I
good luck
do
to
think
Jay
it's
White.
interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, good luck to Jay White. We'll see where he pops up, and I'm interested. I'm looking out for him. Let's see. Since we're already in it, Amanda, what's in your glass?
Well, obviously, since I was on mute, I have our non-sponsored Sonic slushy cherry with kind of a lot of rum in it because I forgot I was on mute. And I also have a can of Coke.
Very good. Very good. Very good. I am having coffee, and right now I'm about to make that coffee a proper coffee.
Woohoo!
Number 12. Because, I don't know, I had kind of a long day today. I mean, it wasn't longer than the hours because that's just not how it actually works. You know,
It just feels like a long day.
it just felt long.
That's what watching Dynamite was yesterday.
Dynamite felt long. You're like,
Long.
when people are like, oh, do you think Dynamite should add a third hour? I'm like, they haven't?
Yeah, I know.
Are you serious? How much am I watching? Like, yeah.
For what?
Yeah, for what?
Do I get we get another weird promo with Jericho?
Man, yeah.
I don't know.
At least he wasn't on commentary.
Thank
He's
God.
got a real thing about he doesn't like silence in such a weird way. That
Really?
when he's on commentary, yeah. Like listen, I mean, you can't not, but like check out an episode with him on commentary and notice how he's filling every gap of air. He just can't stand there to be silenced. I think even notably the tribute episode was tough at parts where there's emotional things happening and he's screaming,
Yeah.
yelling in your ear and
just
not
rambling.
saying stuff and rambling and you're like it's fine, dude, just it's fine to be silent for a minute and let us sit in this. But that was to me where it really started to stand out, where I was like, fuck, Jericho, stop just for a minute, let me process this.
But would you rather
ahead.
hear Jericho screaming or Excalibur do his stuff that you just like hate, his over explaining of whatever?
Yeah, so Excalibur can be incredibly patronizing, but I also think that I think he's allowing room to breathe. Everyone was being silent but Jericho. Or everyone was making their moments. So I do think that the cadence of Excalibur is not bad. I don't think his voice is like grating or anything. I don't think he sounds too excited or too stoic. I think he's actually pretty good about that stuff. It's his tone that he takes with me. He's got like, did you see the Talking Smack the other day where Kayla was telling Paul Heyman, she's like, we're not doing this, Paul. We're not doing this today. And he just goes, Kayla, let me give you some free counsel. And he goes, take that tone out your mouth. Like, so fucking funny. That's how I feel Excalibur. I'm like, Excalibur, take that tone. Got a little bit in the chat, and then we'll get into AEW, I suppose. Guys, thank you for coming through. Kiro is back. Friend of the show, friend of Brock Lesnar. He says, why do you guys never talk about Impact? Because we talk about what we watch.
Who watches Impact?
No, there's no...
Oh, come on. You guys
That's a very good question. I mean, I'll
I don't
admit
even mean it that way. I just recently found out it's on YouTube.
Oh, it is?
I just found out it's on YouTube, yeah. Or
Oh,
is
I
that
didn't know that.
MLW's on YouTube?
I'm pretty sure they got
thought-
Twitch going too.
Yeah, but they counter-program us. Impact is not at the same time as us. That's...
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I don't even know when Impact runs. I have no idea. I
The
don't
thing
know.
is I'm willing to watch Impact matches when I hear about them after the fact, but there's just enough going on over there that I've seen that I didn't feel excited about, I guess I'll say, that I didn't feel like I got to tune back in.
You
know what
thought
I mean?
it was like the developmental of developmental?
I don't know if I'd say that, but it didn't stand out to me in any big way. Even the big returns that I was expecting to be big, like when Eric Young had his first match back and Heath Slater, Rhino going back, I was like, this is kind of cool, the Good Brothers. But I watched the matches and I was just like, oh, this just feels like watching Impact from before. This doesn't feel like new and fresh or even like I wanted to give it space while it kind of like became a bigger thing, but I don't know. It hasn't grabbed me when I've watched stuff. I like Chris Bay. I think Chris Bay is fantastic, and I think he's got a huge future ahead of him. And that's just it, too, is I think I'm more fans of the talent than I am of the product. Is that weird to say?
No.
I mean, that's an opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I love a lot of the people on there. Heath and Rhino, the Good Brothers. I fucking love the Good Brothers. Every time I see them, I smile because I can't help but think about the moment of my life that was one of those, I can't believe this is how my life is right now, where I was just drinking whiskeys with the two of them, talking wrestling, and I was like, this is fucking incredible. New best friends. But it was just one night of drinking.
Kuro's in the chat telling
No,
us.
and
to watch.
honestly, like I saw that now Sue Young, because she's one of my favorites. I really love the women's division, but Sue Young has now another side of Susie. Now there's Susan, and so I have to look at that and catch up with that. So.
I did see that.
But again, there's so much to watch that.
I was hoping you could share some light on that, but you're still catching up.
Yeah, so you don't know a lot about the new Susan character, the third dimension?
No.
Leah Moonlight, cheers to her as well, coming through. Oh, evening. I don't know what,
Kuro's saying to watch on Twitch. You kind of need to watch Impact to understand AEW this week. But the problem is that we already watch, I feel like, quite a bit. And to get everyone on the show to watch is kind of a task.
Yeah, there's already a lot. And the thing is I shouldn't have to watch your YouTube special, your Twitch third promotion, and your national TV show to get what's happening. That's really on the commentators to tell that story. Oh my God. If you haven't been tuning in, their commentary does not do a good job of explaining what's happening, even enough, right? If they even said, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening over on Impact, if you missed it, this and this happened, I can't believe what's going on. And at the end of it being like, oh my God, this seems like it's going to trickle back over to Impact, some sort of lame excuse to tell you if you didn't watch it before, you're missing out now, and you're going to not want to miss next week. I don't feel like they do that. They come in and they just go, oh, here they are, and this is exactly what it looks like. And you go, okay, then here I am. But I don't think that I was lost. I mean, because 2 weeks ago, the Good Brothers came out, and a week before that, Kenny had already announced his partnership with the Good Brothers on their Twitter. Like, that's just it, too, is I watch a lot of the Impact's videos on their Instagram, and they show every clip with Kenny and with Don Callis, and I've known for, 2-3 weeks now, we knew that this coming up pay-per-view was going to have Omega and the Good Brothers tag teaming up against the Motor City Machine Guns, and who do they have with them? Rich Swann. So we've known about that for a long time. So I don't think that it was all like, how could this happen? Plus, from the moment Don Callis showed up, before he even got involved in the first match, I'd said even on this show, one of our previous episode ones, I said, "Oh, Don Callis is there. Does that mean we're building towards getting good brothers with the Elite finally?" And I mean, the thing was like, that's really playing far out. And I'm like, maybe not, but it seems like you're putting Don Callis on your TV. There's no way this isn't leading to something. Clearly, we're having a mix of Impact and AEW. We're going to get to the Bullet Club reuniting in some way, right? That's where we're going. So when he showed up, it wasn't all like, what? It was like, oh, cool. This is what they're building towards. We're doing it. So I don't think that and also, it's not that I didn't. We didn't even get to that part, but I didn't even hate that segment or anything. You know what I mean? I was fine with all that too. So it wasn't like, I don't know, unless there's something else I'm missing from it that you think I'm missing.
Yeah.
But I watch what Impact puts on their Instagram, and if there's something on there that teases a match well enough, I'll go back and watch that match. Yeah, but
isn't that like watching like YouTube wrestling, though, and watching Dark?
Yeah. Exactly. And that's just it, too. And Justin says it here in the chat. He goes, so many people always said WWE has so much content, and AEW is right in the same category, wanting you to watch so many different things to understand what's happening on Dynamite. But I think that's the big difference between AEW having the different content and WWE having the content that they have. WWE has it all in one spot. You watch 3 hours of Raw every week, and you know exactly what's happening on Raw. If you don't follow their Twitter, if you don't follow their Instagram, if you don't look at their YouTube, you're not confused by what's happening. You don't have to go somewhere else. You don't have to watch the whole show, but it's in the show. It's in it. And same with SmackDown. They have little stuff. They have documentaries and stuff on their network and stuff. They do have things that highlight what's going on. Some of the documentaries like Chronicle, I really like. They'll help build into a match, get you excited for one, but you don't need it to know what's happening. Where with AEW, it feels like they've got their 2 hours on national TV, and they're all like, yeah, but everything's happening on Dark, being the Elite, or Impact. And you're like, well, I don't literally want to go to 3 other sources to find it. So, I don't know. I just think that commentary could make me want to watch it more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Amanda just going through the chat. Amanda, let's get into it. And cheers to Justin for coming through. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate you. And cheers to Kuro, man. I appreciate you bringing the heat. We're gonna piss him off though. He's gonna leave. Kuro's gonna sit there and go, "Oh yeah, Impact is on at the same time." Click.
I know nothing about Impact. I think, obviously, we know who the tag titles are on. I know who the women's champion is, and the men's, and I can't remember whoever
I think it's Chris Bay. Isn't Chris Bay the other division champ?
The X division?
Yeah.
Or whatever they call it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Not my bag.
But again, I do want to reiterate, we're huge fans of almost everyone on that roster. It's just for whatever reason, the collective showing on the show has not grabbed me. But I'm like, I want almost everyone on there to succeed. There's
the storytelling and all. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not invested in it. And when I try to watch it, I go, oh. But I like the people involved.
That's how I feel about NWA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm. I'll drink to that one.
Well, yeah. What could have been NWA? What could have been?
Yeah.
Into the fire.
It's such promise.
I know.
And Marshare went to the live tapings too.
That's how we met. That's how I met.
Yeah.
Amanda.
That's how
I'm
we met.
telling our viewers.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and I got in
literally how
trouble.
Me and Amanda went. Yeah. Which I'll talk to you offline about that.
Yeah, we'll talk
came
about
up
that.
That came up in conversation recently.
Oh.
So it went well. Everything is fine now. But that definitely got brought up in conversation to me, so it was really funny. Guys, yeah, I know. I was waiting like a snake in the grass, like a shot in the glass, like a shark in my pants. Guys, let's talk AEW Dynamite. Into
and that's gonna be stuck in my head. Damn it. Damn them for using Dawkins like that. Damn them.
I know. Okay, so this was supposed to be the second night of their special, the New Year's Smash. Did you feel like by the end of it that this was a special episode of Dynamite, or did you feel like this was another Dynamite?
This was another Dynamite. And
I
I
forgot
honestly,
it was a special episode.
The first episode didn't feel like it was anything special either.
It really didn't. These past two ones really felt like you renamed your first two episodes of Dynamite. And I wouldn't say that's true of all their special episodes. Winter is Coming felt like a special episode. Felt like
Winter is Coming did come, and that was great. And I bet you next week, because it's -1's birthday, that might be probably more special than the two New Year's ones were.
That's possible.
Just because.
I'd like them to do something nice for him. I don't know if we need to focus an entire episode on him again, but I also don't think it would bother me. I think it's cool. Yeah. I know that they've shown a lot more stuff backstage, and I've seen a lot more stuff than was originally out there. So I feel a lot better about all the things they're doing with the young boy, because just because of personal instances of similar tragedies, I was a little uncomfortable with the usage of the kid at that time of how soon everything was. So that's not to take away any of the stuff, but I will say that I've seen a lot more. I've heard more people talk about the goings on backstage in that regard, and I feel a lot better about pretty much all of my reservations there. So I do think it's really cool that he's around those people and experiencing the things he's able to experience, and I think it's actually really cool. So I'm glad that stuff kind of trickles out after a while, you know. So we'll see what they do for -1. Yeah. Do you think his dad gave him the nickname -1, or do you think it was a joke by somebody else?
You know, I was wondering that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe someone else came up with that. But then again, I don't know. Or maybe it's just something private that they won't disclose. So
that's true. I wouldn't be surprised, because I think the numbers thing was a joke amongst the team, because Anna Jay got 99 for some reason.
Yeah.
And obviously they skipped numbers. So I feel like all the numbers were jokes for specific reasons, just little tags on stuff. And because, I mean, then they made the comment to Dustin that he could come in and join and be 7, which was obviously a joke and callback to his WCW days. The one time he showed up as 7. But it just makes you wonder who's the ones making the jokes, if it's all of them. I just get curious. I wonder if it's even in being the elite. They might even explain it.
No, I don't think it is. But
You know?
I do think, obviously, because when the original 2 members of the Dark Order, you know, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, when they were Super Smash Brothers, it was player 1 and player 2. So that's probably where they got that from.
Got the 1 and 2. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm into it. I liked it as the cult thing, you know, giving them numbers. It didn't make anyone feel special, but it did make the overall cult like gimmick make sense. So I just wonder. I just wonder, especially if it comes from a joke. I just get curious who's making the jokes back there. Like it could be Silver. Who knows?
And they have a cult, a COLT, too.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
In the cult.
Cult. So, son of a bitch. It's all good. It's just the first episode. It's not a big deal. So the show opened up with Pac versus Eddie Kingston to kick off Dynamite. What'd you think about this? We haven't seen Pac in a match in a little bit. I mean, I think it had a pretty solid build when you think about it. I don't know why, but all their matches always seem like a surprise to me. But when you think about it, you're like, well, I guess it has been sort of building. There's been tensions there. It's been weirdness there, and I thought it was a bit of a surprise you put them together so quick. And it was but it was a really good match.
Yeah, and I just don't like how now that Eddie lost to Mox, it just seems like everyone's going to come in and just beat the hell out of him and whatnot, and just kind of, you know, it puts Eddie in a place. But I don't know if it helps him or if it hinders him. Anything that helps him when he's on the mic, total positive. When he's not, it's like, well, what are you trying to accomplish?
How many years do you think he's got left in him?
Oh, God, couple, maybe 2, 3
right?
at the
Like, I
most.
just don't feel like he's got a lot of years left. And
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I want him to do this as long as he wants to, because I'll never stop watching him. And much like The
Yeah.
Undertaker, we probably could have said 20 years ago he's probably got 1 or 2 years left in him. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
you just never know. He could go forever. So this isn't by any means trying to say, you wrap it up, dude, hang him up. I'm not saying that at all. You do you. You live your life. I don't think he's ever done anything else but live it the way he wants to.
Oh,
But
yeah.
keep doing that. We're going to be here for you. But it does make me wonder. I also wonder if he cares that he's losing or that he comes off a little bit.
I don't care.
You know what I mean? Like, are we actually going to get to a place where AEW puts a significant title on him? I don't know. He'll always be believable because of the way he talks, and that's something that not everyone there has. So if you can make a credible opponent like a Kingston in every fight, but Kingston keeps losing, but you keep believing he's going to stab you, it might work for him, and it might make him enough money where he can pay off his fucking house and just be happy. And whenever he's done in ring, hopefully it sets him up in a spot where he can work in some level with the business and teach people what he knows, because he seems like a lot of wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, I wonder that
But
too. He keeps losing, and I keep going like, oh, am I not meant to be invested in him? Because it's hard not to be. But also,
Yeah.
am I not expecting him to win anymore?
But he did a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago in the Indies. I honestly thought he was going to be hanging it up because, I mean, he was having problems with his knees and his back. And I mean, it was just so believable. Some of the stuff he did at it was AAW in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that with Eddie, it's really hard. He's hard to read on that one. So, but when you look at it, maybe a couple of years. I mean, if you know, but I don't think anything beyond that.
Not without some sort of time off with some surgeries, which he probably couldn't have afforded before, but maybe he's going to get to a place where he could. Because that'd be nice. I'd like to see him get the surgeries he may need to extend his career another 5 or 6 and live comfortably. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be dope.
Absolutely.
That'd be dope. I don't know. I agree, though. Seeing Eddie Kingston lose is always a bummer. But Pac is real fucking good. It is really hard
Pac is
to.
really good.
Yeah, he's good at winning matches. He's smooth in the ring. He's also physically smooth like a dolphin.
That's a good analogy. I don't know why I'm tickled by that.
He comes out and I go, that dude's got no water resistance. There's just no way.
Yeah,
But it was good. It was a good match. It was a good fight. I liked it.
He's one where I don't cringe if he's getting on the ropes.
Yes.
I never have that hesitation. I mean, there have been a couple of times now, even with Seidel. I mean, I know that's your thing, dude,
Yes.
but I've gotten kind of scared. But Pac doesn't do that for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's a few people who they just go up there so naturally. They're so sure-footed. They're not wiggling. They're just perfectly balanced the whole time that you just don't get nervous. I'd say Pac, and probably the other one that comes to mind immediately is Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
You know? Just
Totally
a natural on the top rope.
Agile. Totally agile.
Yeah.
I don't
Dude's
think I could
basically
do it.
Cirque du Soleil
Mm-hmm.
from the hood. Yada. It's the motherfucking deal, double G.
They probably had it in Inglewood in the parking lot there at the forum. I wouldn't be shocked.
Maybe.
shocked.
Maybe. But,
Maybe.
okay, so the match was good. After that, Lance Archer comes out, and he's trying to attack Eddie Kingston. He comes out, and he posted a whole thing on the old social media where he clipped off his big, long braids. And he's like, I did a thing, or whatever. But then he came out, and he had him back. And I was like, did you just switch out your extensions and make a picture of it? Like, I think that's what he did. Changing out my extensions for new ones.
I was bummed about that. I'm like, I was expecting something new.
Right?
And I'm like, those are the same like style braids. What?
Yes.
Whatever. You're a loser. No, give the people what they want. If you're going to build it up on social media like that, come on. There's no
Do
payoff.
something. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
there's
same.
no payoff.
It was the same. But, I don't know. I guess there was a bunch of people going around. I'm slipping through. The Chuck Taylor thing.
Oh.
So they made a whole deal of this a couple weeks ago or last week where Chuck Taylor, Miro says, you're going to be my young boy. By the end of this match, by the beginning of the match, they were saying they weren't using the term young boy anymore. After Jericho had actually done a good thing and explained clearly what a young boy is in Japan, Excalibur was all like, oh, if Chuck loses this one, he's going to be Miro's butler. Well, now they're calling him his butler. They even made a graphic already of Chuck Taylor in a suit. So they already did the photo shoot. I wish they hadn't aired that immediately. But they're like, oh, see what happens next with Miro and his new young butler. And you're like, dude.
I think Chuck Taylor might be older than Miro.
Yeah, maybe. That's possible.
But
I mean, so now Chuck Taylor is Miro's pool boy butler. I don't know, man.
But they can't say, well, I'm surprised they don't say that Chuck Taylor's his bitch because they love the word bitch.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's where I'm shocked by. So
maybe by the end of it, because they said it's going to be for a whole month because we're children here and we make bets like that. If you do this, then you got to be my slave for a month, do all my chores. That's what it feels like. But so he's going to be the butler for a month. It makes me wonder if by next week they're making fun of him and they're like, you're not even like a young boy. You're more like my bitch boy. And then they just start going with bitch boy.
Maybe.
Because they do love the term bitch. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good word, first off.
Yeah, it is.
It's solid. I used to say it so much. When I wasn't allowed to say curse words, I would go to Kevlar's house and I would just say bitch as many times as I could in a weekend. It's like sometimes, like when I think back on it, I go, God, what a little shit I was. I said bitch so much for no reason. So in my mind, I'm happy with that.
But
Let's
the
see.
match, Miro, I want to comment on Miro though.
Go ahead.
It just, I don't know with Miro. I don't know how AEW sees him. But he's got that weird Donkey Kong. I think he looks like Donkey Kong in the beginning of Donkey Kong when he does that stomp thing. And I'm like, oh, God. Like, what
Donkey
is
Kong was a
this?
badass.
I know, but Miro's not a badass in his, his pajamas. There's nothing badass about that. But I know. But I think that I don't know what they're doing with him. Like, is that going to be his thing? Just to kind of be with Kip and that once I get married, what's there to do?
Yeah, so I wonder if they'll just go around and have him make everyone his butler for a month at a time.
Oh,
just
God,
go through the whole roster. I don't see where this road leads to championship. I will be honest. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I blinked for a second, and it might have been more than a second because the match was what it was. And I like Miro looking strong, so I didn't mind any of that stuff. Yeah. I don't know where the story goes that makes me any interested in it at all. That still wasn't. I tried to redo that sentence. It wasn't a sentence.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes that I care about. But I blink. I look back. There's Orange Cassidy hunched down in the corner. I thought he was like wiping his butt on the ground like a dog scratching his butt, but he wasn't. He was just crouched down over there. And I was like, oh, shit. Orange Cassidy's about to get involved. And then he didn't do anything at all. And I was like, oh, wait. Orange Cassidy already got involved, and I missed it. Miro must have kicked the shit out of Orange Cassidy and threw him out. That's had to be what happened. I don't find evidence that that's what happened. Justin says Orange Cassidy's about to get more shine for defending his friends. Did he or did he not actually do anything?
He tried.
Did he try? What did he do?
I think so. Did I blink too and I missed that?
Oh, so I don't. And then when I look at this little review thing I have written up here, it says, because this was written by somebody else, it says Miro locked eyes with Orange Cassidy, who was at ringside after the match was over.
Yeah, they did. That I saw.
Yeah. But I don't see anything above that where it says Orange Cassidy attempted to do a thing and defend his friend. It didn't.
Well, he tried to go after Chuck
when
they were dragging him away. I thought he did.
He didn't even stand up. The dude was crouched down the whole time like he didn't want to be seen.
Oh, okay.
That's hardly defending your friends.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be. I don't know what we're doing with Orange Cassidy.
I think on commentary they made a comment about, oh yeah, there's nothing that Orange Cassidy can do for his friend. I think Excalibur had said that. He can't help his friend.
Yes. But he also didn't try to. He was present
Yeah.
after the fact. And then it was like,
Yeah.
well, he can't do anything. But he only can't do anything because he didn't try to do anything.
But that's Orange Cassidy.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
how is Orange Cassidy defending his friends if he's just being Orange Cassidy and not doing anything?
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't follow a little bit.
I get that.
I could see where they build towards Miro versus Orange Cassidy, so Cassidy could free his friend from butler hooddom.
They're not going to do that.
Because I don't
they
know
won't
what the
do
real
that.
word is. If they
Young
do that,
boy.
though, yeah. But then you got to have Orange Cassidy beat Miro, and I don't.
Well,
I mean, they'd have to do a weird, dumb match, like a pool boy match, where they put pools next to the ringside and you have to splash somebody.
didn't they do that already?
I don't know. Maybe. DW Takes coming through. Bishop, thank you for coming through the chat. Cheers, my friend of the show. Anybody who's interested for Royal Rumble, me and Kev are going to be doing a watch along with him on his channel. So open up a second tab, go follow TW Takes Podcast, and join us for the Rumble. So yeah, so I could see that maybe they're gonna do Orange Cassidy versus Miro, but I don't know. That does bring us over to the Inner Circle. I wasn't gonna go segment by segment, but these are all things where I was kind of like, what is happening?
Yeah.
The Inner Circle announced their New Year's resolutions. This is also happening like 2 weeks into the new year. I feel like the resolution thing should have been done last week if you were going to do it. This feels like you're really milking New Year's for weeks,
that's
which is
why.
weird.
That's why yeah.
Go ahead.
Did we need a place for it? No. But I think that was the only thing that could tie it into New Year's. And also because Jericho was not doing commentary this week.
Yeah.
You could see his face.
That's true. I guess without this, the whole show is definitely not New Year's Smash.
Exactly. I didn't really care for this segment.
I don't remember liking a second of it.
Well, only because, like MJF, his character, obviously, I didn't like the fat shaming because Sammy shouldn't have said anything, especially because it's like, oh, you had some sensitivity training. What the hell? And I'm only saying this because I've been a victim of his fat shaming, but yes. So I thought that was I was a little miffed about that.
That's a
but
really good
one
point
cool
too.
thing.
If you went through sensitivity training, I'll throw it right back. But if you went through that because of the whole thing and had his paid vacation to do so, this whole segment was him talking about calling Jericho a tag team slut, saying that they were supposed to be the sex gods, calling one of the guys fat, and then
Get rid of fat people.
Get rid of fat people. You're right. It was a little bit like that's a weird slew of things to say after you came back because you're more sensitive now. And I get it, you're a heel too, but those are also all cheap shots that a good heel doesn't need to take. Although Randy Orton did say Triple H's balls were in his wife's purse.
That's a running gag.
That's
But
different.
it's a running gag. It is a running gag.
Yeah, but that's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally different. But I will say one good thing was funny out of that whole segment. The Sammy and Hager team. I think that's hilarious. And literally, Sammy had no clue what Chris was joking about. I don't think he still does to this moment. But I thought it was funny.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. I also wouldn't. I mean, I do feel like there was a moment there where Jericho completely dropped character and was just kind of laughing about stuff. He goes, I like that. And you're just kind of like, what? But I liked Jericho dropping character more so than him being in character. I think his character is such a fucking cartoon of himself.
Yeah.
It's really off-putting and not even boo-worthy. But then when he drops it and just talks like a human for a second, you go, oh, yeah, you are a charismatic guy. I remember liking you. Bishop in the chat says he's got Elijah Craig small batch in his glass. Sounds really good. I like small batches. Batches ain't shit, as Ben Folds always said. But yeah, I guess that's true. I didn't like this, and I don't like the idea of them trying to figure out which tag team should be what tag team. I think that actually Santana and Ortiz had a great point that they were meant to be the tag team in the group, and they've done jack shit with it. Like, I think what this this little segment did is highlight how
They don't do jack
poorly
shit.
booked. Yeah, how poorly booked the Inner Circle's been from the beginning. This really highlighted how much all of them are nobody right now.
Because
I have a question for you.
Well, I have one too. For
Okay,
you.
you go first.
All right. Do you remember the last time that Santana and Ortiz tagged together?
No.
I can't remember. The only thing I could think of was it that brawl with the best friends in the the parking lot? Was that the last time? I know
They were in the match as a team in that one?
yeah.
Then I'll say that's the last time I remember. I know that there was a couple matches. Yes, because the one got injured in it and the other one was tagging without him.
Mhm.
Remember? But
Yeah.
I don't think that they've tagged together since then. I don't know how serious that injury was. Maybe it was significant. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
Justin says, kind of hard to see any other pairings in the Inner Circle going for the tag titles except for the actual team in Santana Ortiz. I agree with that. However, I think that the way that these shows are thrown together, the way that it feels, I absolutely think there's every reason to believe that Jericho and MJF become tag champions before Ortiz and Santana, and I think it's a shame because I think that's exactly where they're going with it. Amanda,
Yes.
I have a question for you that I positioned to the people last week, and I think you were in the chat, so you chimed in a little bit, but I want to give you the opportunity to say it to my face.
Okay.
I think in a good way, I think in a positive way, as much as this is going to sound like a not positive thing to say, I think the company has outgrown Jericho's value. I don't think Jericho brings anything to anybody he's on screen with anymore. He doesn't make commentary more exciting. He doesn't. He said the young boys thing, which they immediately got rid of anyway, so it turns out it was irrelevant knowledge. Losing to Jericho doesn't make anyone in a better position. Beating Jericho doesn't put you in a better position. I mean, Orange Cassidy beat Jericho twice? And where's he? He's cowering in the corner of a mid-card thing about a fucking pool boy, about a butler. This didn't catapult Orange Cassidy into the TNT title picture. You know what I mean? Winning against Jericho, losing against Jericho is not a rub, and it's not helping. And they opened the show with him that night they followed NBA, and they got fucking ripped to shreds by people who tuned in and said, oh, look at Jericho on this bootleg WWE. I was like, that's probably not the tweet you want out there right now.
Yeah.
You're probably hoping to have oh my God, how have I been missing this? So I don't know. Do you think, and I'll tell you what Justin in the chat says, it does feel like AEW is past the needing Jericho to enhance the show phase. So Justin agrees with me. I think if Jericho has a value to them, it is no longer on screen. It would be behind the scenes, which I think is possible. Amanda, go ahead. What do you think?
I totally agree. I mean, it's like, what is he good for now? Because I think they've established so many people that weren't stars. And then some of the people that they bring in to the fold, even though sometimes they don't know what to do with them necessarily. I think that Jericho, it's like, well, what do? You have this faction of, I don't even know what, I'd say idiots, to lack of a better term, and it's like, well, what do you do? I mean, all it does for him is sell, rooms on his cruise, and they'll use the AEW talent on his cruise. But I mean, what's there to do? I mean, I don't want another, musical number with him and MJF, or God forbid him and Wardlow or something, and I don't think that anybody who, anybody right now, nobody's really interacting with that Inner Circle. That's all themselves. So, I mean, that's fine for what it is, but honestly, there's no real place for it. So I think they're just using him to use him, but I think he should be backstage. And
I think it's also a good point. No one's interacting with the Inner Circle. Not only are they not a scary faction, they're a nobody gives a shit what you're doing faction. Your fights are with each other. No one's trying to take down the Nation of Domination here. No one's trying to be the next group that takes out Generation X. This is literally a faction of people honestly fighting with each other. They're about to have another, what is it, a three-way tag title match against each other. Yeah, what a fucking weird, incestuous little program you guys have running. We'll just do a program with ourselves. Okay. And literally everyone else in the company's all like, yeah, we don't give a shit. We're not trying to interact with you. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, I said it in a mean way. I'll give you that.
No, but no, I agree. And you know what?
I hadn't even thought about that. They're not even interacting. Go ahead.
Also, too, I think the one match that everybody wants, and they kind of were leaning toward it but didn't, is Sammy and MJF. Yeah. The two snotty, like, think they're all that guys. That's probably the only thing I think in Inner Circle that we really need, because we already got Wardlow and Hager out of the way. So this is the last stand, to do is those two.
Yeah. What else do we need to give you guys to shut you up?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's hit the chat real quick. Cause we got a chatty group tonight, and I love it. Let's see.
Yay.
Bishop says Jericho doesn't move the needle. If it's AEW being different that moves the needle, and I agree with that. When people are watching and talking about AEW, it's not like, hey, did you see what Jericho did? I really don't feel like that's the case at all. Except for the people who just say everything he does is perfect every time. I really enjoy giggling at the apologists for Jericho, where they're all like, yeah, but he's like 50, so like when you think about like how old he is and what he's done, like, I mean, it's pretty good we're even getting this level out of him. And you're like, dude, no one says that shit about like no one's but about AJ Styles or Brock Lesnar or Triple H. No one's being like, yeah, but
yeah.
So
Murder Grandpa, he's like 52 years old. Yeah, Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah,
52 years old, and that man scares the living shit out of me.
Isn't Batista like a year different than Jericho?
I think so.
That dude is a goddamn Marvel superstar because he looks like a comic book still. I'm not saying it's about looks, but I'm saying his WrestleMania match was fucking sick, dude. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Faptina says not at all. She said, I don't even think Sting moves the needle anymore. Bishop said, had Sting done anything, he would have. In the YouTube era, things have hit now. Things have to hit now and different all the time. So yeah, Sting comes in, he stares at people, he winks at people. The snow comes. Dude, the snow hit late this week. I loved it. But we'll hit that in just a second. But yeah, things are hitting in a different way where it's all like when people say it's going to be Sting, it's going to be Sting, and they tune in and they go, that's it? The next week when you go, Sting's coming back next week, they go, yeah, but he didn't do shit this week. And then they go, what do you do the week I missed? He winked at the guys. What? He winked at the guys and left. It was about 30 seconds. Okay, well, fuck. He's got to do something. He needs to do something. This week he did. But was it enough? Justin said, every time he's on TV in a wrestling capacity, it's so predictable Jericho's going to win. It does nothing for anyone. Well, that's true, too. And you can tell when he's going to lose. Like, I knew he was going to lose that Mimosa match because of how stupid the match was. And he just gets off on weird shit like that. I don't know. I'm not here to shit on Jericho. But I'm not going to not. But he has done a lot. He has had a long career. But I'm well past the time frame of giving a shit what he's doing on TV. I don't think that he's helping the company at this point from an on-screen presence.
They needed him year one. Now we're in year two, and they don't need him.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they needed him during any of that time. I think that the other people were on there were doing more. But I do think the first couple months he provided something to them.
Yeah.
But I think that at this point he's just completely outworn the welcome. He did have year one grace. There was hey, it's your first year. You've got Jericho. This will be cool. I do also think they wasted year one with him because they made the announcement in that January. He wasn't on TV with them until that fucking October. Yeah. And I was all like, oh, that's a long time to sign a person and not use them. And I think that was always the time that could have been good time with Jericho. But who knows? Who knows? I'm just ready to turn the channel on Jericho. Let's see. The next thing was also pretty predictable but fun. Kenny Omega was going to come out with Young Bucks, and they're all like, oh, no, we're going to come out different. We're going to come out different. Oh, no. And I was like, oh, are the Good Brothers coming out instead? And then they come out, and he's all like, oh, you guys know them. They're the champs. I was like, it sounds like they're talking about the Good Brothers, right? And then the Good Brothers came out, and the internet goes, oh, my God, I can't believe it's them. And I was like, what? Do you guys not watch wrestling? Do you just not watch it? Like, but it was Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers, against the Varsity Blondes and Danny Limelight. And seeing as how I had very little clue much about those guys other than their names, I had a feeling how this was going to end, and it did. But I really like seeing the Good Brothers out here. I like seeing them with Kenny Omega. It leads me to believe that we're going to get a 3-on-3 match with other elite in my mind.
I think so too. Who do you think?
In my mind, the way the Young Bucks were like, fuck this guy.
That's such a Nick Jackson thing.
Yeah, and I feel like yeah.
Fuck
I
this
feel
guy.
like with Hangman Page being all wrapped up with the Dark Order and a whole other thing that I'm not thrilled with.
Don't tell me Cody.
I feel like it can't be Cody because Cody's wrapped up in Shaquille O'Neal for some reason and Snoop Dogg. What is happening over there? In my mind, my gut tells me, and you heard it here first, I am no insider, but I'll take full credit when this happens as an actual journalist. I don't know. I just feel like Scroll's going to show up over there. He's been teasing a lot on his Instagram. He's been showing a bunch of pictures. They clearly parted way with ROH.
Oh, yeah.
Who's he going to work with but his fucking best friends? I feel like you're going to have Omega and the Good Brothers poke and prod and be little dicks, and in like a week or two, you're going to have the fucking villain show up with the Young Bucks and say, no, we don't care that you're bigger than all of us. I'll fucking break every one of your fingers.
Yeah. I really want that. In a perfect world, I really, really want that. I'm hoping. I mean, everything is crossed. I mean, I am like the biggest like Marty Skrull nut that I probably know. But no, actually, no, I know some other ones too, but I'm pretty out there. But I'd love to see that. Didn't have the best like feedback I saw with ROH saying that, you know, they parted ways.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? It's not my decision. It's not your decision. It's whoever's decision. And to be completely honest, there are worse people out there. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I have a feeling that I don't know why, but they're just going to screw it up and do Mox and the Young Bucks. And that I don't care for.
Right.
Because
I wouldn't care about that at all. I wouldn't.
Yeah, you have to do something that's okay. We were promised the elite. We didn't get the elite.
Right,
so, yeah, we got.
And
the
it's
club.
not even the OC. It's not even the original or the only club that matters.
Yeah, it's not.
It is the B club.
Yeah. So, you know, you got to give me something.
Well,
I mean, I don't know how else who else you could do, but the elite technically were all five of them. I mean, they had all of them: Cody, Hangman, Marty, you know, the Bucks, Kenny. All of them had those the elite shirts that they sold at Hot Topic. I've got two of them, like right over here, my Marty ones, a special edition and the regular one with the owl. So,
Producer wants to throw something out there real quick.
You said B Club, and for whatever reason, the first thing that popped in my mind was the B Team. Mm-hmm. So that was what was going on.
It's 100% what I was going for. Yeah,
it's not great.
B Club, B Club, B Club.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't be excited about Moxley and Young Bucks because it would feel like one of those like, oh, the friend of my enemies is a friend of me, and those are just ones I'm not all that into. I mean, they're usually fine matches, but you know, strange bedfellows we have again. I'm not super thrilled about without that. I also think that Moxley is a better solo act than he is when he's paired up with anybody.
Yeah. I'd like to see Moxley and Pac, to be quite honest.
That would be really neat.
Fun. That'd be very neat.
But I do think that that we're gonna get him and Eddie again would be good.
Yeah,
especially without something on the line like that grudge match.
Yeah.
I do think that we get Marty in AEW based purely off the fact of like he was part of the plan the whole time, but couldn't turn down the opportunity he had in ROH, which is no longer the opportunity he has in front of him. Yeah. Do you think, being objective and without any kind of like background knowledge concept, do you think that there's a possibility? Because I think he's going to come back to wrestling. I do. And I agree with you that there's worse people out there. And all I'll say about the stuff that came out about him was that it was not similar to any of the other stories we had heard. It was not nearly the predatorial behaviors that we had read before. And at the end of the day, the whole movement of speaking out needs to be based around the concept of redemption and bettering people. And I mean, he was one of those ones where you go, well, what he did was a technicality with shittiness behind it. It seems like there's room to grow there. You know what I mean? So all I'll say is that if growth happened, if he's redeemed himself one way or the other, then I don't have any reason to not have him in the wrestling business. Not like some people where you go, you are just a blatant predator who attacked people. So I do feel like his story was different, which I do think lends him to the availability to some of these other companies. Because of all that, though, it has tainted his internet presence for sure and his reputation, which means that companies need to be a little more sure-footed when bringing him in. But it also means that his opportunities have lessened. Do you think there's a possibility he would ever sign with WWE now versus before, where clearly creative control was always a major factor? Do you think he has the position now where if NXT had offered him something, if he would be able to just turn his nose, or would he have to at least consider it at this point?
You know, I think he would probably have to consider it, but I don't think that that's really the place for him, just because I think that he is, well, two things. One, that he's going to get buried into the back, or they will just ship you off to NXT UK because, you know, you're a Brit and whatnot. But I think that he won't have the opportunities that he would have if he were to go elsewhere meaning AEW. Impact, I don't even know what their situation is, so I don't want to throw that into the fire. But but I think that he would go because he doesn't really have choices other than, oh, let me start my own thing, and I doubt he would do that. So.
Oh, that's true too. If he were to start his own company, I'll say this about AEW versus NXT in my mind. I think in AEW it'd actually be much easier for him to get lost in the mix. What is any of the elite doing right now that feels ultra relevant or ultra important or even super main eventy? You know what I mean? Like, you've got Kenny Omega doing all of his stuff on Impact. The Young Bucks were barely even shown on the TV at all, and Hangman Page is a secondary story in a mid-card concept. None of the elite are excelling over there. They're just not. Because the company's still young and growing. But I think if you throw him into an NXT situation, I think you immediately get Marty and Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, Undisputed Era. I think if you went to NXT UK, the idea of Marty and Ilya Dragunov sounds fucking incredible to me. The idea of Marty teaming up with Pete Dunne to take out the Undisputed Era, because I know you guys... You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
those kinds of pairings excite me. Where when I think of Marty in AEW, I go, I guess he'll pair up with the Young Bucks in some way and have a match with who? Pac? That could be cool. But who else is he going to have a match in there that's going to excite me?
Well, I think with Marty, it's really not because Marty, in my opinion, he's always been, his bookings are very weird. Like, the only time I think he's ever booked really strong have been in New Japan. And obviously, you know, some of his other, you know, independent stuff. But I think that with AEW, the problem is that I don't even think they really know what they want, what they're doing. I don't know, because now we're in year 2, and it just seems like it's such a mishmash of everything, and a lot of things just don't make sense. Like the, you know, Inner Circle, why are we bitching with each other? I mean, yeah, okay, you need them to do something, but with the Bucks, I understand that. Yeah, you know, was it Nick, or it was Nick who had COVID, right? That it came out that he was out on the shelf with COVID, so maybe that's why they're not he wasn't wrestling and they haven't been around. I don't know, but it's really weird. Like, the one person I think has been a huge miss, and he's not even doing dark, is Joey Janela. And
Yeah,
that's
but
the
he was
one.
never one of the elite, right?
No, no, he was on it once when they were filming at PWG, I think. Yeah.
Once? Fuck.
But he's not doing anything.
He's
Sunny
not.
Kiss. Yeah, those guys aren't doing anything. And so I think
Now, in defense of them necessarily, because I've grown to appreciate Joey Janela on a different level than when I first started seeing him.
yeah.
But truly, when you think about who's booking and who's in charge and all the EVPs, you've got people who consider themselves elite wrestlers, self-taught stars, and all this stuff. And Joey Janela's claim to fame was jumping off of a house onto light bulbs and cutting himself so bad he had to go to the hospital. You know what I mean? Like his claim to fame was YouTube cringe videos. So I could completely understand that the company might turn their nose up towards him because we brought you in thinking you were going to get us YouTube hits. You know what I mean?
But he's not doing anything for them to garner YouTube hits.
Correct.
That's the thing.
And that's
Yeah,
on them.
when you're not booking
But-
someone.
Yes.
But even like I look back, and when I think about I'm gonna go all the way back to All In, and I think about his match with Hangman, and I mean that was a pairing that I never thought I would see. It was a very interesting pairing of the two of them.
Well, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's where with Janela I love is when you see those weird interesting pairings that he does, and that's where he really kind of survives and really thrives. So
I thought the video packages he was putting together right before we really stopped seeing him, before he paired up with Sunny Kiss, he put together a couple video packages that they aired that made me really interested in what he was up to, but then I didn't move on it. I'm going to hit the chat real quick. Bishop says that he's got a B-Team shirt, and because we hate it so bad, and we do, that he's going to wear it during the Rumble show now.
nice.
Good. Grim Reaper came through the chat. Cheers to Grim Reaper. Thank you for coming through, buddy. He's a friend of the show, as always, and he says that he agrees there'll be more opportunities in NXT for Marty, and I think it's at least from a fan standpoint, of a dream match standpoint, although I do say constantly, and I do completely agree, that the term dream match is thrown around like crazy when it's not really a thing. Excited for matches is not the same as dream match, so, but I'll use it here, because fuck it. I've had a few. But I think that's all I had to say about that, really. The whole segment fell apart into a ton of tag teams. I don't know what we're doing with it, but I'm curious to where we go with it just because the Good Brothers are involved now. But my heard it here first, and I'm going to take credit for it, is I think Marty shows up in AEW and teams up with the Young Bucks.
Agree.
If he doesn't, I will buy me a drink. Okay.
That's a good deal.
Let's
But I've
see.
been saying it all along, and I'm stopping saying it because I know it's going to happen, and I'm just impatient. I've been saying Marty's going to show up, and I always thought that Marty was going to show up with the Bucks, and when they showed
thought he
Mox's
was.
thing, because you know how they had that, in the beginning. That's how his old video packages were. It would do that old like propaganda little cut. Yeah.
But I also
They
thought
got
that might be on purpose to tease it. Because at first I was like, holy shit, it's happening. And then it was like, bang.
And we thought that
it's
was
Mox.
Sting. We thought that was Sting.
That's
No.
true. But if they tease enough of that stuff, then when you see something similar, you're going to go, oh, it's Mox. And then something changes. You go, oh, shit, wait, no, it's Sting. How did I mess that up? And then you go, oh, wait, that's not Sting either. You know what I mean? Like it could actually build towards an honest surprise if you've got enough little things and other things. But I don't know that anybody's thinking that far out or that detailed, because I'll be honest, I don't think anyone would.
Well, I think if Marty is going to come to play, there's something thought out with it. And I also think that maybe he might be the one who helps creatively. He didn't really get to do that with Ring of Honor. Yes, the whole pure thing, bringing it back was him, but I think that could help them in a way.
That could be good. That could be really
because
good.
Marty's got a pretty good creative mind and an eye. So, yeah.
To be honest, if he sat next to Tony Khan for all these shows and started saying, let's do a bigger vision thing, if he became their head booker, even if they were silent about it, I'd be fucking thrilled. But
who is their head booker? Does anyone know?
Tony. It's Tony and all the talent gets to say what they want to say. It's like a committee type thing, is the way that Jericho's talked about it and stuff, where they have to clear stuff, but they don't really. It's just like they've all explained it and they've all thought it was weird. Yeah.
No,
That's why so many things look the same, because everyone's trying to do things like each other because they think it's cool, but there's not one person saying, "Hey, we've already got that happening. Don't do that." That's why a lot of it is repetitive. Something that was not repetitive or didn't seem the same, but really stood out to me on Saturday Night Dynamite, the waiting room with Britt Baker, Rebel Teener. Was this supposed to be so bad that it's funny? Was that the idea? Because everyone I thought did a really piss poor job performing. I thought the set looked like shit. I thought it was super fucking corny, and I couldn't tell if that was just the point of it.
That's the point of it, because you don't watch internet wrestling. So you would know. Oh, that's right. This did premiere. So yes, it's supposed to be that way. Is it supposed to be like, kind of shitty? I think
and
so.
They nailed it.
But then I really think those two don't think it's supposed to be shitty. Or at least Britt Baker doesn't think it's supposed to be kind of shitty.
She was the one who seemed to be putting the most effort besides Jade. Everyone else seemed to be like, I'm going to be as awful. But here's the thing. This is my biggest complaint about AEW is I feel like everybody who sits down to do a segment starts off each pitch with, wouldn't it be funny if, instead of saying, it would be good, or wouldn't it be badass if, I feel like everybody goes, wouldn't it be funny if we and then the Young Bucks keep talking, except what the Young Bucks sound like to me.
It does not. It's not funny.
Yeah,
No.
I wasn't thrilled with it, but I also got the impression I wasn't supposed to be thrilled with it. I do like that Jade Cargill is getting a little bit more screen time to do stuff. I do think it's interesting that Red Velvet showed up. I guess there's sort of a story there because she was teaming with Brandy for a short period there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where we go because just off the look of it, Red Velvet is a losing wrestler who's got half the size of Cargill.
Yeah.
Red Velvet was never built like a threat. So you don't see that. This isn't like Taz standing in front of Brock and you go, yeah, but Taz is a mean motherfucker. We've seen him choke out Kurt Angle. And that scenario never happened. But I'm saying, like, if you want to talk about size, if you had Taz stand in front of Brock, people would say, yeah, but this is a mean dude. Red Velvet has never given off mean motherfucker vibes. She loses a lot of matches. So I just think it's a little bit weird. Yeah.
What, right? Wasn't she there for just that?
Yeah, more or less. That's what made it weird to me. I was all like, oh, well, let's see what we do. But at no point am I expecting Red Velvet to win this, and I think that's a bummer.
Well, I don't think she's supposed to win it. That's the thing. No, she's not supposed to win it. But then it's like, well,
she's supposed to be believable.
Well,
right? Like, there's a certain level where it's all like, yes, you're not going to win. I don't expect you to win. Like Kevin Owens against Roman Reigns. Yes, Kevin Owens isn't going to win that match. But there's moments where I start to think, oh my God, Kevin Owens is going to beat Roman Reigns. And going into the match, you go, yeah, of course Kevin Owens won't take the title off Roman. Roman's only had the title for a short period of time. But I could see Kevin Owens with the Universal title. So there's got to be that shadow of a doubt, even if it's a small shadow, that, well, there's every reason to think that they could. Or, Goldberg versus Drew. Most anticipated match of 2021. Everyone's all like, well, obviously Drew has to win. But it's Goldberg. And Goldberg wins a lot. So I think that you need those, I don't know, even in the obvious cases, for it to be a match that I'm going to truly give a shit about. This feels like a segment that could have been on Dark. It could have been on Being the Elite. I didn't have to see it, and it's not building towards something I'm interested in. Because we still don't have Shaq. Justin's in the chat saying, I hated this segment. Not a fan of Britt Baker. Thank you, Justin. Big not fans of Britt Baker over here.
Why are
Jade
you
Cargill.
not a fan of Britt Baker?
Oh, only because I've seen her and know how bad it is to watch it.
Okay.
I don't like to use terms like overrated and stuff like that because I don't think this whole rating structure for the internet makes any sense. But I will say that given the amount of hype that I've seen around her, I was awfully surprised by what I actually saw in ring and what I heard on the mic, because given the hype, there was an expectation there that was not met. And I would say, even as I watched this person grow into their role, I have yet to become truly impressed by anything or feel like, yes, this is a top star. I don't think there's any star power here. I don't think that. I mean, because we were just talking about Marty Scurll, and I said dream match as an idea of like, can you imagine Marty Scurll with Pete Dunne? Can you imagine Marty Scurll with Adam Cole, with Kyle O'Reilly, with Ilya Dragunov, a guy in NXT UK? Ask me about any match for Britt Baker where I go, what would be a great match? I cannot think of one, because we've seen her against great wrestlers have mediocre matches. So I don't know. I don't see it with her, so I'm not a big fan just because of that. Again, like I've said in almost every other episode 1 starting a couple weeks ago, I love eating crow. It's my favorite thing. So I can't wait for the day that I come back on episode 1 and say, you know what? A match was the match of the night, Britt Baker's last night. I can't wait for that day because crow is my favorite dinner.
I don't know about that one, though.
It's not going to fucking happen. She's just awful.
Yeah. I mean, she's okay. I mean,
But what Justin was saying is Jade Cargill is all talk, no action, not to mention the story she's in is horrible. Thunder Rosa and Red Velvet's appearance was the only good thing about this. And Bishop said, very measured definition of trash. Yeah. But I agree with that. So this is kind of a horrible story. Jade's whole thing is like, Shaq's not going to like this. And you're like, Shaq is busy making pizza and rubbing Icy Hot all over his body.
And it's basketball season.
And it's basketball season.
Charles Barkley. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
If there's one thing I know, he takes baths in Icy Hot while he's eating pizza from an iPad. Oh. So, and I agree, Thunder Rosa was badass. I wish her audio was better. I wish they asked her to re-record that. I wish they sent her a fucking microphone. I wish she told me she needed help. I would have done any of those things. If she told me, hey, I need a mic, I'm going to be cutting promos from home, I would have sent her my old one. Like,
yeah.
And I'm not trying to be an idiot about that. We sponsored Mission Pro. We intend to sponsor the next show too. I have emailed her back and forth. So, friend of the show, us, we do support her. We do love Thunder Rosa here. But yeah, I was really surprised by the lack of audio quality on that.
Yeah, they could have had Colt the podcast god, But,
yeah, fucking send her some stuff, dude. Like, come on.
Cheap.
I did like Red Velvet just getting some airtime, so I agree with that. Let's see, all talk and no action. So that's what I was gonna say. Jade being all talk and no action. Someone, I believe it was GR Lunar, hit me up offline and asked me, "Do we know how well she wrestles?" He goes, he said, "I don't know what her wrestling is like, so I don't know if I should be excited yet." And I was like, "That's the thing. None of us do know. None of us have seen her wrestle. She has not wrestled on any kind of televised thing, and she's here because she's a basketball player. She came through the WNBA."
Oh, is that where she came through?
That's why she knows Shaq. That's why she knows Tony Khan. Why she's 100 feet tall and all muscle.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's a WNBA star, which I just recently had found out too, and it all clicked. I went, oh! So I do think that, it comes from that whole like athletic background stuff, right? Jim Ross was always talking about it back in the day about the blue chippers, them doing this sport and that. So I think 100% possibility she's great in the ring, but we don't know. Like you said, all talk, no action.
She's great modeling in front of like Lamborghinis.
That's a good point.
That's the only thing I've seen, so I don't know how she is as a basketball player now, because this is all news to me now, so I don't know.
It's a good point. I don't know if she can dunk. I don't know.
Probably
but
better than me.
That segment, I guess, was what it was, but I don't know what we're supposed to be doing. Why is Cody in this story at this point? He should be in something else.
Well, because remember Shaq, and he has a little penis, according to Jade. And
yeah, Jade said he had a little wiener.
Mm-hmm.
A little diddly.
Mm-hmm.
A little nightmare, as it were.
Well, you can't use that now. They do have a little nightmare on the way.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Can't use that. But I think also too, it was to get people excited about Britt Baker's segment and not turn the channel.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. So yeah, I mean, I guess it was what it was. The thing that really like ticking me off is they're having this huge pull apart with 1 million people wrestling, and they're all going in and out of this door, but the camera keeps panning to the side where you could see the edge of the wall as it's clearly a TV set, and you're like, why are they fucking using the door? You could see behind it and around it, and it was just fucking dumb, man. I mean, and maybe that was just part of it. Like, wouldn't it be funny if you could see? How funny. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's
Then it
funny.
wouldn't be like a waiting room.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
I feel like in Scrubs, you don't know what's funny, Elliot. Like a big phone is funny. Hello? 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 Giant phone. Pantomimes. That's what I feel like when I watch this show.
I think that's what it is.
Let's see. FTR got their asses kicked by Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt, but they eventually won, so that was fine. Serena Deeb and Tape Conti.
Oh, I want to talk about that.
Talk about it. Was there anything you want to say about FTR and Jungle Express?
No.
Yeah, I was fine
because
with it. I can move
honestly,
on.
like it went where I knew it was going to go.
It went where I was going. I wasn't impressed by how long it was. It could have been shorter.
Yeah.
But it was fine. I can't wait for the day that Jungle Boy has gotten so jacked he can't do that stupid hanging off of Luchasaurus' shoulders anymore. Luchasaurus just goes, dude, I just fucking can't hold you up like that.
Oh, I don't think Jack's going to get that jacked.
He's getting bigger. He's definitely putting on size.
He is. The only thing I like about that is I'm really glad that Tony bought the Baltimore song.
I thought you would. I thought you would like that goofy shit.
What? Hey, you know what? Since Jack Jungle Boy, I'm calling him Jack. Like, well, no, I do know him, but Jungle Boy. I mean, that's what he came out to, and I saw him.
I think that's
when
funny.
he was not even, like 3-4 years ago almost. Yeah, and I remember it. Like, yeah. Nothing's really changed. Yeah,
which I think is funny. I don't know how much. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know. I wasn't as impressed as I knew his indie fans would be, and I'm glad. That
I know. I'm one of those. You haven't lived life until you've gone to PWG, and he comes out, and that whole crowd sings along with it. It's the best feeling in the world. It's one of the best feelings in the world.
That's dope. His dad got to see that at least once, right?
He did. He was there when I met his dad. It was his first ever PWG match. And his family is so supportive.
Right. That's what I mean. It was so supportive and stuff. But they got to see that happen with the crowd, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so good, man. I love that shit. I love it.
Because that was his first time, but it was such a great, it's such a great entrance, and everyone just like lost their shit. Which is dope.
I as much as I know it's not for me, I knew there was a lot of people really excited, so I was just happy that I was happy.
That would be me. That would be me.
Yeah.
I'm one of those.
Loves this.
Yes.
So Serena Deeb and Tay Conti. I was not expecting a lot out of this match. I'm going to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Tay Conti, I have not been super impressed with match by match, although I've been very excited about her matches. I do think I've seen a ton of growth in her matches since even she was in NXT. I remember watching her when she first came out and thought, oh, there's a lot of promise here. I can see why they would sign this person. But going into this match, I was like, I don't know what we're going to get out of Tay Conti with a Serena Deeb that's going to make me truly interested. And by the end of this match, I was definitely at the edge of my seat thinking, this is fucking tremendous. This may have been the best match of the night, to be honest. Amanda, what did you want to say about this?
Yeah, you can obviously tell with Serena Deeb how much of an influence she is and elevates people's game. Because honestly, Tay Conti, same thing. I didn't think that she'd be all that. This would be okay. It's 5 minutes of filler, if anything. I thought it's going to be quick, but it wasn't. And I was like, I know it's coming next. What's going on? But it was incredible to see that you see the potential of what the women can do. Because I think Serena is now also training. I haven't listened to the podcast she did. I know they put her on with Shivani and Bad Ref, which Bad Ref was bad again last night too. And during this match too. Yeah, Aubrey. I'm sorry. There was a time where it was again, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, Aubrey. but you're missing counts. So,
Yeah,
but it
and I
wasn't
can't
as
stand that she keeps putting that stripe down her arm now. She's trying to figure out other ways to stand out, and I'm like, stop it.
yeah. It's like, don't. You stand out because you're a woman. Okay, let that be enough right now. Just calm down. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it just because of the potential it brings to the women. Because I think that everybody should at least have a match with Serena, even if it's on dark. I don't care where it is, just because of the caliber of the wrestling. I mean, she could teach a lot of these people things. Obviously, no, you don't want like a Blood Lady. What's her face? Abaddon. Yeah, you don't want her. No, that'd be kind of weird.
I don't want her even signed. So
she is signed.
I don't want her to be, is what I'm saying.
Well,
She's one of the ones online where if she blocked me, I'd be like, no loss. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of wrestlers where I go, man, sometimes I talk shit, and I don't want them to block me. Like, I don't really want Jericho to block me. But if Abaddon blocked me, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even notice, probably, to be honest.
Probably, no. I've gotten blocked.
Who's blocked you? Hold on. Producer just looked at me like you're getting blocked. Did you get us blocked by someone? Okay.
Did I?
She riles up. Producer riles up Renee Young, and I'm like, oh my god.
Renee's so like, I don't know.
So nice. She responded to me. She put out a thing where she was like ragging, like talking about the sweater she was wearing, and behind her was a stand-up of a bear. And I just tweeted at her because I was like, I don't think I could make a comment on the Instagram. I think she'd blocked comments because I think that makes it smart. And I just did a message to her, not a direct message, but just, added her. And I was like, I got to know what's going on with that stand-up bear in your latest post. Like 15 minutes later, she's all like, oh, let me tell you about it. And like fucking talked about how Moxley had gotten it to scare her and put it in the bathroom upstairs or some shit. And she goes, and the thing worked, scared the poop emoji right out of me. And I was like,
what
that's
a
hysterical.
dick. Oh, I would have kicked him in the bread basket. What a dick. But it's a good story.
Yeah. And it was nice. It was cool that she responded to me. I was like, that's really cool that she saw that. And she goes, yeah, I'll tell them. Justin does say, Tay Conti hung in there very well with a veteran. I agree. I thought it was great. Something that's really been bothering me is a lot of these moves, and Tay Conti does one. It's called the Tay KO, which everything's going to be a goddamn clever name. It's these moves, and I think Peyton Royce does one too, where like it's back to back. They lift you up a little bit, and then so the person getting hit has to tuck their legs up and over and around your waist, and then like you do some sort of thing to them, but they're having to like bend their legs backwards and hook them on your own waist for the move to go off. I can't stand that. And a bunch of the moves are like that, and the Tay KO is like that. She lifts you up onto her shoulders a little bit. It's back to back, and then Serena Deeb would have to hook her own feet on Tay's hips for Tay to hit it. And when she lifted her up, Serena kept her legs straight, and that's how she countered it. She just didn't do the move for you. And it's one of those things where it's like your finish should be, as they say, something you can hit on everyone, but it also shouldn't be, in my mind, a thing where everyone has to put themselves in it. And there's too many of those that are out there where it's like it looks cool for a second, but when you think about it for more than a second, you go, wait, why would you just leave your legs down? And Serena did it. I thought it was fucking a great little piece of, I'm going to counter it because your finisher is stupid. You know what I mean?
And it was also, I think, probably a learning thing, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I do think it could be part of it, and I hope that we actually see a different finisher for Tay Conti. In the chat, Bishop says, you leave the pseudo-national treasure Renee Young alone, producer lady. She's a Canadian national treasure. Hello.
Okay, but she also has a cookbook, and she was like burning some food, so
She had it coming.
So, I mean, I didn't put that out there. I just asked for Corbin's help because he's always barbecuing. I honestly thought he was going to, like, I don't know, DM her some tips or something. And nope, not what happened.
Instead, Corbin, of all people, Corbin threw you under the bus. How could he?
So it actually was not intentional.
She's all trying to talk shit about Renee, and she's like, Baron Corbin, come talk shit too. And Corbin's all like, fuck you, dude. You're on your own here. And then she's like, how could this happen?
I wasn't trying though.
So funny. So funny.
You're gonna talk shit. Suffer the consequences. That's been a couple wrestlers that have blocked me.
I was trying to help.
Just trying to help. I'm trying to sell cookbooks here. Anyways. Anything else about that match you wanted to say other than it was just fantastic?
No.
I was surprised. I think it was match of the night. However, the match that ended the show was also pretty dang good overall. Darby Allin versus Brian Cage for the TNT Championship. Mm-hmm. There was spots here and there I wasn't fond of or thrilled with. And overall, I think that Brian Cage gives too much in my mind. This dude could be the biggest, meanest motherfucker in all of wrestling who everyone would be behind, but we keep seeing him lose to people who don't look like or even perform like they stack up against him. He keeps losing in... What?
He hasn't lost yet. This was his
first loss. What are you talking about? No, he lost to Mox.
Oh,
and I mean even before this, he's lost to Tessa Blanchard like twice.
Oh, outside of the AEW world. Oh, okay.
Well, I'm saying before AEW, he loses to women, and then, I mean, not to say that Tessa Blanchard's not a fucking main eventer. She is.
Yeah.
She's fantastic, and I honestly want to see her come back. But I'm saying that he's too giving if he's putting over literally all these people. If it was also, I mean, it's sort of like what I said about Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. When he was winning against everybody in TNT title matches, but taking 30 minutes to do it, and people who we'd never heard of and never saw, it didn't mean as much when Brody beat the shit out of him, because you're all like, well, yeah, he has a really tough time with indie talent. Of course he couldn't take on a Brody. Brody's a real, actual wrestler. He's a real mean motherfucker. He's a multi-time champion. Of course he couldn't take on a real champion. That's how it looks when Cody gives so much to the people we don't know about. It's just that little stuff that's in the back of your mind. If it takes him 30 minutes to take out Warhorse, who, quite frankly, looked incredibly green out there, then...
Not the best Warhorse match.
It was not the best Warhorse match. Nope. Maybe the nerves were there. I don't know. But he gave so much to Warhorse that by the time Brody Lee comes in, you're like, of course Brody's going to murder him. Of course. Cody hasn't wrestled a real man in a long time. I don't mean real man as in man versus women and all that stuff. I'm not trying to underplay anybody else he fought. I'm just saying, Brody's a big motherfucker, a mean dude. So, of course. And so the same thing comes out to here where Brian Cage loses to Tessa. He loses to Darby Allin. It kind of undermines the other people's wins. You know what I mean? Where if he'd only lost to Tessa, but didn't lose to like a Darby or a Mox, you go, man, Tessa's so good. She beat him and he's beating all these other people. But he gives so much and makes everyone else look so good. It's just, I just feel like he's getting wasted over here. I feel like I don't know what they're doing.
I don't, with him, I don't know. I don't think that they, well, he wasn't supposed to win that belt. That, I mean, honestly, like that's not for him. I don't see him in that kind of, do you want to
put him in a match?
Well, I know, but that dumb ranking system. But here's my question to you is, do you see him more of that main event, like with Omega, Mox, those kinds of challengers, rather than the TNT one? Like, what's your take on that? Because
I feel like Brian Cage, had he not had these losses on the way over, and had he not been walking around, I mean, he's given the FTW title. He looks like a kid on Christmas. And Taz goes, this belt goes to the toughest SOB in the whole business. 2 weeks later, that motherfucker throws in the towel because he goes, yeah, there's no way he was going to win that match. He just couldn't win it. And he could say all he wants about, I was saving him, I was protecting him, this and that. Bottom line, you gave up on behalf of your dude because he wasn't good enough to get the job done. You made him look weak. Now, he's lost to fucking Darby Allin, who's 70 pounds, soaking wet. Not that weight has everything to do with it, but it has something to do with it. And then at the end of it, I mean, it was funny. I tweeted out as a joke. I was like, and still your FTW champion, Brian Cage.
I
You know what
got
I mean?
it.
Like,
I got the joke.
yeah, but it's like he's losing. He's supposed to be the toughest motherfucker, but he doesn't come out and talk tough. His coach doesn't put him over like he's super tough. He cowers down to Sting. He loses to Darby Allin. Taz gave up for him. Like, I mean, it doesn't add up. And to me, when I watch him in the ring, and I watched him in this match, I thought, fuck, this dude's amazing. The way he, like, picked up Darby. Okay, there's a couple times he picked up Darby like a fucking doll. There's the one where he picks him up over his head, throws him like 30 feet into a table.
I was like, shit.
Ow!
Yeah. That was a spot right there. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what's fucked up? I bet you Darby told him to do it. I bet you Brian's like, I don't want to do that, dude. And Darby's like, dude, you can get me over there. And Brian's like, I could, but come on, man, you're a human being. And Darby's like, fucking do it, bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
care.
like, I feel like that's how it went. And
Probably he lives for that shit. I mean,
yeah, Darby loves that shit. And then the other move that Brian does, there at one point he walks over, Darby's sitting there face down in the mat. He grabs Darby by the back of his belt, dead center, middle of his back, and lifts him up, deadlifts him without even squatting his legs. Deadlifts him with his arm, stiff arm up, over Brian Cage's own head, and then throws Darby back down. You just deadlifted another man over your head and threw him. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I might make jokes about Darby being small, but I'm not deadlifting that motherfucker with one arm.
No, I can't even deadlift a damn, like, a little, like, chihuahua, probably.
Yeah.
So it's saying something.
100%.
Yeah.
So I just think that Brian should be somewhere further down the in the card. He shouldn't be losing these matches. Shouldn't be in his matches. And he shouldn't be cowering down to Sting, who did show up. And then they were 3 minutes late on the snow. In my mind, and I see Bishop in the chat. He wants to talk about NXT so bad. We're going to wrap this up, go to NXT right now. But I did, in my mind, I was laughing at the idea of Tony Khan being out there being like, where's the snow? Where's the fucking snow? Get the snow going! Sting's there! There's no snow! Are you out of your mind?
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we were doing the whole time.
That's how I imagined it going.
I will say that I think Brian Cage would be better suited to do tag with Will Hobbs. Because you have two big, badass motherfuckers that could probably destroy buildings. It's like that video game Rampage when the dinosaurs or whatever the hell climb up the building and they just destroy. Yeah, that's those two. Now, I will say, kudos to Ricky Starks for getting hit by the bat, taking one for the team.
Sting finally does something against Ricky Starks.
Yeah, and his Gucci slide stayed on when he fell over the hole because I was like, oh, the stairs are. I was like, you don't lose a shoe, and he didn't lose a shoe. But I was really concerned, like, can someone pick him off the ground, please? I'm sure he doesn't want to be laying on the ground like that. Can one of you guys on stage pick him up?
He's scuffing his velvet.
Yeah, his velour or whatever. Whatever. I'm like, yeah. But props to him for taking it in the whatever.
Yeah, he took two good stiff bats by Sting.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. It was really good.
Yeah.
I hope it was a gimmick bat because otherwise Ricky's fucked.
I think he's okay.
Justin does say in the chat, I gotta say I'm not a fan of the AEW World Championship and TNT Championship having the same rankings, which is true. The TNT Championship needs its own rankings, which is super true. He also says Brian Cage is in the Lance Archer position. He gets big title matches and looks dominant, but doesn't get the job done. And I do think that they have a way of making Brian Cage and Lance Archer both look weak in defeat and not strong in defeat. I think they have a hard time booking those matches. So I agree with that as well. Bishop trying to throw the shade back at me. Not happening. I'm excited about the idea of conceptually if Ricky Starks is the first person that gets in the ring with Sting, because I think that Ricky Starks is an incredibly safe worker. He's an incredible workhorse of a worker. I think it would be a cool feather in the cap for Ricky on a personal level. So in those regards, I think that'd be so cool to see Ricky get those opportunities. From the other side of things, I'm still not interested in seeing Sting wrestle at all. I don't know that we need him in the ring with anybody, but I also think that Sting needs to start doing something. So I don't know. Say what you want to say. about the rest of that show, and then we'll kick it over to NXT, Amanda.
You know, the only other thing I have to say about it is it's going to be really interesting how the next one in line, because the next one in line is Ricky for that belt, the TNT Championship. And I have a feeling that it's going to be at Revolution. And you heard it here first. I'm saying Ricky will win the belt at Revolution. Because why? The beginning of his song, the Revolution is televised.
Oh, shit.
I'm going deep. Going deep.
You're going way deep. When I saw Sting hit Ricky with the bat, I thought, oh, shit, I bet Ricky wishes he still had that body bag. He could have just painted the other side of the bag.
Yeah. Since it didn't go. And he just gave it away.
I tried to win it for you, but...
I know. I even asked, can I have it? If you're just going to give it away, I'll donate money.
Yeah.
You know, but it's okay.
But I would say all in all, not a shit
okay,
episode at all. It was okay. It was decent. It was a decent Dynamite, but it didn't feel like a special show.
For a New Year's show, shitty.
Yeah. Yeah, for a special show, it didn't feel special, and there's definitely a lot of things happening there I'm not excited about. But all in all, I had a fun time watching it, but I think it's also because I try to continue to watch the show with the filter that it's just like watching Saturday Night Live. You're going to see a ton of comedy skits. Some of the guys are good at comedy. Some of the guys are still getting there. You're gonna like some of it. You're not going to like other bits of it. You're going to see some star cameos. I watch it like I watch Saturday Night Live, and it makes it a lot easier to digest. So I had fun in that regard, but I was super excited an hour later to turn on a wrestling show. NXT. They started their Dusty Classic. I put out my bracket. So far, I'm 3 for 3. I am a good tag team booker. You heard it here first. I'm a booker now.
I didn't do a bracket, but I know who's gonna win. I'll say that.
All right, well then do a bracket. You can even put in gray. I'll send you the bracket if you want to do it.
Yeah, send me the bracket, and I'll send it back to you. But yeah,
and we'll post it. So the show opened up. It had a lot of tag matches, so we don't need to break down each one of those because it's part of the tournament. But it did open up with Shotzi Blackheart versus Candice LeRae. God, I'm trying to remember. I think this match was pretty fucking good, wasn't it?
Yeah. I didn't cringe at Shotzi like being worried for her.
Correct. And producer had something she wanted to say about that too.
Oh yeah. I think she's improving. I do remember there being some points where you were confused at the moves that both of them were doing because they weren't doing anything to opponents.
This is true.
I think that was your only complaint. I think Shotzi's definitely getting a lot better in the ring.
I think that the lack of Serena Deeb in the locker room is showing. I think there was a couple times they were trying to do mat wrestling and trying to do hold for holds types of reversals, but Shotzi Blackheart put on an armbar opposite twice, which is absolutely no pressure at all. Candice LeRae had a headlock in that didn't even have the headlock around the head. She just basically had her arms in a circle like this, and she was pulling apart on her own arms. So you're like, so Shotzi's just resting in there. Like, it was... what made Ronda Rousey so good at those holds is she knows how they actually manipulate limbs to hurt people, and then knows how if you do one thing slightly wrong, it doesn't work. Because that's how you learn those things. Hey, look, if you do it like this, you're going to rip someone's tendon. If you do it like this, slightly different, nothing's happening. That's why you got to do it the other way, because she's trying to... So you have to know both ways to do it. They were doing moves that were like, well, if I just wrap my arm around your arms, it'll look like your arm's all tied up, right? And you're like, no, not exactly. It doesn't look like there's pressure being applied. You know what I mean? Mm. Apart from the idea of that they're not two great mat wrestlers, they did do the rest of the wrestling stuff very well, and they told a good story, and I really liked it. And like you said, there were no moments where I felt like, oh my God, Shotzi's going to kill people. Yeah. Maybe even herself. But... it was really good. It seemed like a nice match. I had no complaints.
Good way to
I thought
open.
They both were really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I only had the one complaint.
But I see what you were saying. I see it. Yeah. I see it. But there's not really that many women who are really good mat technicians, though.
Right. So you had like Shayna Baszler, who was in NXT for a long time, who would have been great
yeah.
for that stuff.
Yeah.
Marina, we haven't seen Marina in a while. Jessamine Duke, we don't know where she's at, but they would probably be great in the locker room to talk hold for hold. Shayna talked about coaching people in the back all the time about, oh, you could do this to reverse this, or how would you reverse that? Like that was constantly conversations that were happening. Where right now you have a bunch of indie wrestlers trying to figure out how to make it look good.
Yeah, and I don't think Sarah Del Rey, because I know she's the head trainer. I don't think that Sarah, when she was wrestling, that wasn't her thing.
Her thing. You know who they should all train with? Thatcher. Get some Thatch can. But I hear he's a really mean guy. I hear he's really mean. He's mean. I've seen him.
He's really a nice guy.
Yeah, but he's mean. He's got that tooth missing. Mean guy.
So?
No nice guy has missing teeth.
No, he's nice. It's deceptively nice then.
No, he's mean. I've seen him. That's why Ciampa doesn't like him. He's mean.
Okay, Ciampa can be mean too.
But I thought it was a great way to open the show.
Yeah.
Really good character work on both their parts. And then they started announcing some of the matches for the Women's Dusty Cup. Let's see, Grizzled Young Veterans versus Everrise. I kind of didn't watch all this match, I'm not going to lie, because I knew Grizzled Young Vets would win, and I'm not really into Everrise. Am I missing something with them?
No, because I'm not into them at all. I don't know.
Did you ever see them on the indies?
What are their real names? Or their indie names?
No fucking clue.
I don't know.
Well, if you did, they didn't stand out.
Well, obviously they didn't stand out, but I'm curious now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm gonna look.
If you did, I'd be curious, just because to me they feel like knockoff Best Friends, and I'm not a fan of Best Friends. And I don't know, they feel kind of like a lesser than Breezango, and I actually don't enjoy Breezango very much. Although I know that they're all incredibly talented and very good, I'm not personally invested in those characters. I do want to try to stress that a little bit. I know sometimes, and especially a lot of these fucking stupid shows that are out there, people try to rip on the people and stuff. That's not what we're doing here ever. We're talking about literally what we're intaking. Do I care about these characters versus the people? There's a good chance I have a ton of respect for every single name we ever say, even if I say, yeah, fuck that person. Except for when it comes to Sean Spears. Fuck that person as a person. He's a shitty person. Fuck Sean Spears. He's one I'd love to get blocked by. If he's even got Twitter, that motherfucker probably deactivated. Because fuck Sean. He's a dick, dude.
There are some stories. We've had fan interaction has not been great.
4 times I've met this piece of shit. And every goddamn time he's a fucking dick to not only me, but everyone around him. I've never seen him be nice to another human being.
Oh, he was cool. He was cool when I met him. Twice.
No, don't you fucking start. Don't you?
I'm not starting. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a girl. I don't know.
I was there for one of them.
I don't know.
With Marsh, I was there, and yeah, he wanted nothing to do with us.
Yeah, just a dick.
And we weren't even like running up and trying to be like super fans. I think a nod would have just been fine. You know, like a hey, what's up? Hey.
Yo, the first time I ran into him, it was at Royal Rumble. We were booked in the same hotel as him. That has nothing to do with me. I didn't book the hotel. WWE did. I bought the big package. I did it.
Well,
I'm
that's
getting off the elevator.
Travel people's fault for doing
that.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of the experience. It's what they want, right? Because you're going to hang out at the bar, and who else is going to be at the bar? Some of the wrestlers. And you know what? I got to drink with some wrestlers and hang out with people and talk to wrestlers. It was cool. So I get that. That's all part of it, right? So Sean Spears hasn't been on TV in over 9 fucking months. He's not even been seen. I get off the elevator. It turns out I'm on the same floor as him because he's waiting for the elevator. I've got all my shit in my hands, and I just look up and I go, oh, shit, Ty. I think it's because it's Ty Dillinger. I was like, Ty. I was like, awesome, man. Nice to see you. And he just goes, oh, my God. And fucking, like, rolls his eyes and, like, barrels past me. And I'm like, my hands are full. Do you think I'm looking for an autograph? I said, oh, shit, nice to see you because I haven't seen you on TV in 9 fucking months. And your response is, fuck that guy? Fuck you, dude. You're lucky I recognized you.
Yeah.
You know what floor we were on? 10. I'm kidding. We weren't on 10. It was a Ty Dillinger joke.
Oh, and in answer to the question about Everrise, no, I've never seen them. I don't know who they are.
Good. Well, so I only sort of watched the match.
Yeah, they were kind of obnoxious.
They're obnoxious. They're weird. They feel like a knockoff. I'm not a fan, but the Grizzly Young Vets I do like a lot. I just had a feeling they were going to win, and they did. I'm excited to see where they go down the road here. It did follow with Johnny Gargano versus Dexter Loomis. Loomis was doing some really cool, weird athletic stuff, different kinds of roles that I thought were really awkward, but fucking perfectly performed. I don't know. What do you want to say about this match? I'm not a fan of Johnny Gargano. I wasn't a fan of him winning. I don't get it. I don't get what people see in him to a large degree, to be honest. And I'm sure he's a really nice guy who works really hard. I'm not trying to take that away from him.
Honestly, like I didn't have anything really to take away from this because it was, just another Gargano match where he's going to win. And yes, he's got an opponent doing cool shit. But other than that, no.
Yes, that's what it felt like, right?
Yeah, I don't have any I have more investment in his wife and would rather watch his wife than him.
I've been so impressed by Candice's delivery and this stuff, especially in these little segments that they do, these stupid fucking comedy bits. Every time I watch them, I'm so annoyed at his delivery and think, man, he is so bad at comedy. He thinks he's being funny and his timing is so off. His timing is so shitty. He sounds so scripted. And when she talks, I go, she's got a natural timing with her. She's got some natural chops with her. She seems authentic, even though you can tell she's being a character because you just know that humans aren't the way that they're pretending to be. Yeah. She comes off way natural and is actually funny and has good timing.
Unless you're Sammy Guevara, you're a little piece of shit.
Actually, it sounds like we're reviewing the TW Takes podcast. Just burning that guy if he's in the chat. We'll see. We'll see if he's still awake.
Yeah, Gargano. I don't know. I don't get it. Is that why he's stuck in NXT peril? Is because they don't know what to do with him?
I wonder if it's because there's nothing left to do with him at all. Like, not knowing what to do is one thing, but I don't think there's, like, what else are you going to do with him? What else is really relevant? I don't feel like him having the national title means much. Let's see. Justin says, I didn't expect Johnny Gargano to lose to Dexter Loomis, even though he should have, especially after Kushida pinned him at New Year's Eve. 100%. Going into this match, I thought, this is the move. This is where you put that title on Dexter Loomis. And then you have, for a reason, a creepy motherfucker with a title, and now people have to face their fears to try and take it off of him because they want that title. Yeah. It being on Gargano isn't interesting to me, but if it was on Dexter, I'd be like, well, shit, who's going to want to challenge him? You know what I mean? And then you get some interesting stories there. Yeah. Take says, Bishop says in the chat, want the wife more than the husband. Sounds like my podcast, found on all platforms. So he saw it coming. He knew what was happening. Good point. What? Why'd you look at me like that? I didn't say anything. I'm saying it's found on all platforms. That's a good point. So fun. Let's see. Wasn't that Dexter Loomis's first loss as well? Was that his first clean loss? I thought he lost to somebody in a weird way, but maybe he didn't. That might have been his first loss, which if that's also the case, fuck, man. Why? What does Gargano have? Yes. A waste of a win against Dexter on somebody who doesn't need it. What is Johnny stands to gain nothing by beating anybody in NXT right now. But a Cameron Grimes or fuck, who else is just? I feel like there's some newer guys. I'm like Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed beating Dexter Loomis could have been a big thing. Oh yeah. Oh my God, no one's beat oh my God, no one's beat Dexter Loomis, and Bronson Reed just does it, and you go, holy shit, this guy's. And colossal. Now you can't say that. Now it's like, ugh. Yeah, and now they're all like, oh yeah, this guy also lost to a tiny little child-sized man. Yeah.
It's so dry, Yeah. Yeah.
So dry. Splinter Fox coming through. What up, Splinter Fox? Cheers. Thank you for coming through, Splinter. I don't think you came through. I'm gonna cheers you real quick. But the day the show after where you asked us that question, we opened the show with it. So if you go back to our podcast, anywhere you find podcast, find it. It was, I believe, 2 Thursdays ago. Either last Thursday or the Thursday before. Oh, it was last Thursday, you said. Go to the podcast platform, download it. You could even go to youtube.com. You can go to wrestlingontherocks.com and still find it. The beginning of the show, we open up with your question, all of us. So it's there. And we even had chat. We even had people in the chat answering the same question. So you actually, I think, really like it. So go back, watch it, watch it, or listen to it. Check out the first. I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Let's see. Justin says either that or it was his second time because I believe his first loss may have been to Austin Theory. If Austin Theory beat Dexter Loomis, that could be true too. Austin Theory's fucking.
That's
dude. He's
before
big.
my watching time.
Yeah. But I don't know. Overall, I think this was the wrong choice. I think you should have gone Dexter Loomis. I'd have been interested, but here we are. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't know where to go now. I mean, Gargano just, there's nothing. It's waste now.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's going to happen at, what's the build to Takeover's the next big one, right? On Valentine's Day? Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Producer, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I'm really, really not into his acting, and I don't know. I kind of want to see him away from the wife, just because I'm really interested in her segments. But then he comes in, and I'm just so uninterested. I don't know. I don't know what to do with him.
I find myself playing on my phone more when Johnny Gargano comes out, or actually just leaving the room altogether, or I don't find myself even watching his stuff because it doesn't feel new, it doesn't feel fresh, it feels repetitive, it feels the same over and over again. He doesn't have a different type of delivery. I don't find him funny, I don't find him clever. So it's hard for me to get through his stuff. So I just try to avoid it so I can watch the rest of the stuff, because like on this show, the following segment was Jake Atlas and Isaiah Scott versus MSK. And I was super excited to find out who MSK was. They've been tweeting about it. They showed a logo. They showed the brackets, and MSK was all grayed out, like those little vacant tag teams. And I was like, that's weird. They have a name but no faces. Strange. Let's see. Splinter Fox says, let me guess, the next takeover will be Valentine's Day Massacre. That would be a nod to the pay-per-view a long time ago. They haven't said the name of it yet, I don't believe, but I hope it is Valentine's Day Massacre. So Jake Atlas and Isaiah Scott come out there. They're an interesting team. They've been having a rivalry for quite some time, so it would make sense they may not click, but they actually did click very well. But the team that came out, MSK, Nash Carter, and Wes Lee, you know them as the Rascals, and under other monikers. This is the first time I'd seen them wrestle, and I'll tell you, from the second they came out, I thought, these kids move differently than I see people move. Just in general, like their physical movements were a little bit more fluid, but super controlled, just even in the ring or even in their entrance. You know what I mean? I'm going to say this, and then I want you to talk about the Rascals as you know them, Amanda.
Okay.
Watching this team, I felt like, first off, Nash Carter he wasn't the body of the group, right? You see Wes and his body, and you go, that dude's jacked. You see his partner, and you go, come on, dude, you could lift some weights before you make your first appearance, you know? But they both moved incredibly. I thought their tandem offense, actual tandem offense, mind you, not synchronized offense, which I have a huge problem with, tag teams using synchronized offense in lieu of tandem offense. They did moves together to make the moves better. The assisted standing moonsault, fucking crazy. You can't watch that move enough and understand it. So good. I think Wes Lee wrestles like Kenny Omega thinks he wrestles. Wes Lee was super flippy, does the flippy floppies, right? But he laid his shit in. He looked like he was hitting people the whole fucking time. And he moved like a video game. There's two types of video game wrestling. All right? And Amanda, we're going to get to you. Don't worry.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But I want to lay this out. I saw, when I was in high school, an actual fight break out between two people where one of them was this weirdo white kid who was always weird and awkward, where when the fight seemed to get started, he literally jumped up with both his feet going all the way up in the air as he jumped backwards to land on his feet, and then stood on the balls of his toes and rocked back and forth like it was the video games. You know what I mean? Like when you're picking
like
when you're
Fighter.
selecting, like Street Fighter. You know, when you go through the menu and the person just jumps down and like their knees are all the way up and they drop down and then they're like with their heels up rocking back and forth. He was doing that. Like, this is how we're going to fight. I remember him throwing kicks that were just Street Fighter style kicks. And you're like, this guy thinks it's a video game, but that's not how fights work. And then he got his ass kicked because it's not how fights work.
Yeah, because Fireball's not going to come out, you know?
Yeah. The fireball's not coming, pal.
No.
You're not Alexa Bliss. Kenny Omega wrestles like that guy. This is what I think fighting looks like because of video games. Mm-hmm. Wes, he laid in a Hurricane Rana. He goes over and does this jump where he goes to grab the guy's feet or to grab the guy's head with his feet, and you could see the pressure on the guy's head from his feet, and you could see him pull on him. I haven't seen someone pull off a Hurricane Rana like that almost ever. It always looks hyper-assisted, and you always just accept it. Mm-hmm. This dude was moving like a video game, but more like Capoeira. Have you ever seen somebody fight that way?
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch these guys train Capoeira, and I used to joke around with them because they were also break dancers, but it was kind of like this harmony there. But I also saw one of them get into a fight and use it in a way where it's like, Jesus. Like, there's a fluidity to your movements because you're able to figure out a way to put your body motion and all your weight into these connections. And Wes was fighting like Capoeira mixed with video games, and it was fucking crazy to see play out. It was super believable, really cool to see, and it made me just go, who the fuck are these guys, and why have I not been watching every single one of their matches?
And
you don't watch Impact.
And this is where I say Marsh. This is where I say Marsh can eat crow, because actually both y'all were talking about Impact, not very interested, and these guys were there. So
good point. This is the part of the show where I eat crow, because I just said, I even tweeted out, this is the first night I've ever seen these two guys perform, and tweeted them out and said, and I'm instantly jealous of everybody who already has. I can't wait to see a bunch more. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah.
I was like, where have these guys been the whole time? And then Kuro's probably probably left the chat by now, but he's like, they're on fucking Impact.
Yep. And Splinter agreed. Impact Wrestling, baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
let me catch you up on the chat, and then I'm going to throw it to you, Amanda. I want you to tell me all about them. Justin Time says, my only question is, what does MSK stand for? Correct.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. It's provocative. Splinter Fox says, I seen them do that crazy move that they did 1,000 times, but it looked like they almost knocked him out, which is awesome. He goes, I hope they don't have them stop doing it. He did Uptime Mortal Kombat. He says, I can't believe you haven't seen them. Impact Wrestling, baby. Warrior Wrestling, the indie scene. It's not how you're supposed to see. But correct. And I had heard of them. I had seen pictures of them. I saw when they got signed, and I was like, oh, yeah, the Rascals. I've heard good things. Yeah. I should check them out, but I never got around to it. Amanda, I hear you've seen them once or twice.
Oh, I've seen them a little bit. They are actually, and this is the first time ever that, because of COVID, they're actually still the PWG Tag Team Champions. So somebody called the Young Bucks, excuse me, are a little upset about that because since, obviously they were holding the record of the longest reign with the PWG tag title belts. No, the Rascals overcame them. But a lot of it was because they didn't really wrestle, and they're still there. But if you've never seen the Rascals, I definitely recommend going through the PWG catalog from the last, actually the last like year and a half, 2 years. I mean, they've wrestled everybody, you name it. They've had some really stellar matches against Santana and Ortiz that, I mean, yeah, that's an Impact match thinking. I know what you're thinking, but on PW, it was a different level. I mean, the athleticism between both of them is just unbelievable. Wesley, I have to agree. I mean, of the pair, he's probably the real standout. And I've always thought that, I think he has a gymnastics background. I think he's told me that before, if I'm not mistaken. But also, to be fair, too, is I was talking to him one time, and he was telling me that if you ever want like a first time match and you want to see some good fucking wrestling, he's like, have me and Swerve do something, because we bring out a lot of shit out of each other. I don't think they've ever wrestled Jake Atlas, if I'm not mistaken, but I will say that you've got a lot of guys in there that are completely like athletic, so that's why you're getting that video game kind of feel, because you really don't get that when when you see them against like a Santana and Ortiz. One match that I really was we couldn't get, unfortunately, because of an injury, was I was looking forward to seeing Aussie Open versus those guys, and we didn't get it because of an injury that happened that day. But I will say that as a tag team, there's certain people that when they're partnered together as a team, it's just great chemistry. And this is one of those teams that, I mean, they could have gone to the main roster first. They're that polished. And I think that,
I
it's
immediately thought that.
Yeah, like that's where I was curious, like, okay, how are they, what are they going to do? And then the other thought too was, okay, they had the one guy that was with Thatcher. I can't remember his name. I only remember his indie name. Ryan Taylor, the no-name guy he was trying to coach, or is trying to coach.
Oh.
Yeah. Russ something, or I don't know.
Yeah, Russ.
I don't remember. Anyways, shows you how much I care. But I was shocked that they were using him first. I'm like, well, what about the damn Rascals? What's going on with those two? But it's a very appropriate introduction to them. I think that there's a lot that they can bring into the tag division. Splitting them up is, I mean, they could do it. Because I know, what is Wentz's name? The other one.
Nash?
But there's Wesley, and then there's
Nash Carter.
Nash Carter. Okay. Nash Carter. He's got an MMA background. So, he's the big striking and everything. Because he did, I think he did Bloodsport last year when they did that modified kind of like Wrestle Con or whatever the heck it was. He did Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. So he's done that before. But definitely, these are guys that they're better together than separate. The sad part is the third, we all thought was going to NXT, which is Trey Miguel. Because as a 6-man, oh God, those three, you add one more person who's kind of flippy dippy, but in a more kind of spunky way. That is just another level. But definitely, I think this was the best way for them to do it. I mean, seeing is believing. I mean, these guys do some incredible shit that I am just like, how do you do that? Like, I don't know. And it's safe. That's the thing, is it's done safely. Because
that's
people
true
do
too. I didn't see a single thing that they did where I didn't feel like they weren't in complete control.
No.
And I'll tell you, doing that assisted standard moonsault, I think immediately gives me the impression, just from like just watching at home, I go, oh, they know all about what they're doing.
Oh yeah, they do. And a lot of people don't give them a lot of credit because they're Sammy Callahan's kids. Meaning they trained with him and they were training in Dayton, Ohio, and a lot of people don't care for Sammy Callahan. But
if you had told me they trained with him, I first I would have said, okay, well, I have no reason to watch them.
Yeah,
so I'll tell you
exactly.
Right
but that's who they trained with. I mean, it's a shock because you're like, what the hell? Where did these guys come from? So yeah, I mean, they're probably some of the best that are out there. I think that this was the place for them to go. AEW, they would have gotten lost. This is what I think that Jack Evans and Angelico wish they could do.
Yes.
That's what they're supposed to be like, but they're not. They're not anywhere near that.
Matter of fact, Klump had mentioned earlier in a text with me that he thought, where is it real quick? He said it was like a mix between Private Party and TH2. But he thought they were better. He
But
goes all the good and none of the bad of either of them. So I think that's true too. They definitely got like THQ vibes, like you said, Angelico and Evans. But I also could see that sort of like private party sort of vibe, because I do think that private party's a little more flashy in their moves. I felt like the flashiness of MSK was there, but it was so on point and it actually looked vicious. This wasn't like you usually don't get flips and high impact. You know what I mean? Like you do with Pac, but there's a lot of guys where they just do all these flips and it just looks like you're flipping around and not touching anybody. These guys look like they were finding a way to throw their bodies at people with more and
Sammy
more
Guevara
force.
is a good example of someone who flippies, not really making that contact. So it looks kind of off. That's just my opinion of his.
Yeah, the
wrestling.
contact's just
Osprey's
not
like
there.
that. Oh, well, Osprey's like that a lot too.
100%. That's my biggest
Yeah.
problem with Osprey. It's why I can't watch his matches. He doesn't look like he's even touching these people. It looks like a complete gymnastics routine, a little Cirque du Soleil, which I do like Cirque du Soleil. I've been to the shows before. I think they're fantastic, but I'm watching something else. Producer has something she wanted to say.
Yeah, to me, it's like watching people at the gym, where it's like, oh, okay, so you're lifting a lot of weights. I mean, you're doing this for yourself. You're not actually doing it to, like you said, make contact. It's not simulating any sort of combat sport to me.
Yeah, it looks like sparring at best. I think the Osprey stuff looks so hyper choreographed and pre-planned, and it feels like they took weeks and weeks to make sure they had it all memorized the right way. And I don't think the motions are all even natural. Where I do think that guys like the Rascals, apparently, and guys like Ricochet, they look natural in their motions, and they look like they've figured out ways to build momentum with flips, and not just do a flip and then do a thing. Sort of like
Seidel does that too. Matt Seidel.
Yeah. But like how Alexa will do that thing where she like throws someone in the corner and she runs up to them and then stops herself and slaps them. That's what it feels like with a lot of the flippy guys. Because they'll do the flips where it feels like, okay, well, you just stopped all your momentum to do the actual one thing you were trying to do, not using the momentum to assist in the thing you're trying to do, which I think the Rascals have down pat. And
Another good one
Ricochet
is
as
Flip
well.
Gordon. But I know
Flip Gordon was good.
people don't like Flip. But you know what? Don't bring the politics into the wrestling.
This is
He's
true.
good.
This is true.
He's good.
Splinter Fox doesn't want to see them go to the main roster, but I'll tell you, the idea of Rascals or MSK against the Usos, against the New Day, against
That's what I was thinking of, Usos.
Yeah.
Because when I think of people who know exactly where their body's going to go before they do the move, like even mid-move, there are some people that are just so talented with knowing how to just move their body. And almost like dancers, but in a way that's not choreographed. Yeah. And I first think of Usos, next I think of Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet. I think even Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander against like the MSK group. I just think you could get some incredible matches out of those groups. So I can understand wanting to see them stay in NXT because people have this delusional misconception that main roster is death for NXT, but that's only by people who don't watch the show who think that. Because the entire roster, top to bottom, all came from NXT, including Roman Reigns. So yeah, all of NXT gets buried. The idea of wanting them to stay in NXT, though, because of how strong their tag division is, especially when you look at this roster of tag teams, you go, yeah, I don't think I would mind. The only unfortunate bit is Kyle O'Reilly is not really in a tag team anymore. Now you have Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, and to be honest, seeing Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly or Roddy and Bobby Fish against MSK, that excites me way more than Roddy and Adam Cole, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel you on that one.
Yeah, let's see. He's accused me of not watching Osprey, but I've actually seen too much. He does say RIP Flip. You got the bad hand being stuck in ROH. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Justin says, sign me up for MSK versus Usos match when the time comes, 100%. Splinter Fox thinks the Usos would throw them around, or the New Kit, or even the New Day would. The MSK is too small. I don't think.
No.
That they would.
No. Oh no. No. Definitely. I guess with the Usos, I guess you could say Santana and Ortiz are kind of about that same mass and size
Yeah.
ish. Yeah. I mean, and they had a barn burner with those two. I mean, they've been in there with Lucha Brothers. I mean, you
Yeah.
name it, they've been in there with it. And Penta's a pretty thick boy, and I
Yeah.
think they've held more than their own with them.
It's
So
it sounds crazy because I've even said it already on the show at least once already. I'm not a huge fan of Breezango's presentation at all, but I am actually really excited about the concept of eventually getting Breezango versus MSK because I do think the Fandango and Tyler Breeze are incredible workers and put on incredible matches.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't watch their entrance or I get pulled out. I'm looking at the other tag teams that are there. Imperium and MSK could be incredible. Legata del Fantasma and MSK.
Mhm.
I mean, that could be sick. Yeah, I don't know. I think that MSK is. They blew me away, man. They surprised the hell out of me. I had heard about them. I was excited to see them from that regard of like, oh yeah, I've heard the Rascals are good. I'm interested to see where it goes, but I just couldn't even blink during this match, and everything they did, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So,
But
big
check
props to those
out-
guys.
But don't look at Impact and their Impact stuff because I'll be quite honest. Some of those tag teams they're not that great. You need to look if you have High Spots Network, and if you don't, I recommend it. I mean, just for the PWG catalog, and just look at some of those, and you're just like, whoa, they bring it every single time.
Yeah, I agree. Splinter Fox does say that DIY versus MSK would have been incredible back in the day. I agree. He said it a little bit different in there, but that's what he's talking about. DIY versus MSK, yeah, that could have been fucking crazy. Or FTR during that time frame.
Oh yeah.
During MSK, American Alpha. I've only seen one match, and I've already got Rascals in my mind as one of the best tag teams to ever come through NXT. Like, that's an impression. If nothing else, they made a hell of an impression on the first go.
Yeah, and I think tag teams are really a true tag team is really rare and hard to find.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Bishop's heading out. He says he's got to go. He'll catch us later on the pod. I appreciate that, man. Cheers to you. We'll see you down the road there. Mustache Mountain versus MSK. That's true. I forget all about the British guys. Man.
Tons of possibilities.
Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan I'm excited for. We'll get there. Let's see. There's only 2 other matches on the card. Xia Li. Man, Xia Li is fucking badass. I loved this. She goes out there, punches that lady, kicks her in the fucking head, and then that's it. That's the end of the match. And then as she goes to leave, whoever this ominous, crazy creature is on the top of the ramp just puts out their hands and they're like, no, you better go fuck him up more. And then she just like throws this lady around and ties her up in the rope so she could just punch her a shitload and then throw a knee. It was crazy. Xia Li went from being impressive in the Royal Rumble and wondering what would eventually happen with her because she shows a lot of promise to being an actual murderer on TV. And I'm fucking here for it. What do you think of it?
Yeah. Oh, God. I was like, this is fucking great. I mean, because you don't really see women like that anymore. You either get like creepy people like Abaddon, or you get, regular, women. You don't see these badass bitches. Like, this is something you would want, I guess, like a Nyla Rose to do. She didn't do that, I don't know. That was the impression I got. And I was just like, I'm loving this. This is great.
What do you think about her presentation?
If I hadn't watched the little vignettes, I'd be confused.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just put it that way.
All right.
But yeah. Mhm.
I like it on whole. I do think it's really cool, and I do think in a world where it's not uncommon to have culturally insensitive material. I think this is a really cool way of representing.
Yeah, it's not culturally. I don't think it is. And also, like, any of the Japanese wrestlers, I've never thought it was culturally insensitive. Like when you look at
I
like
thought we
Asuka.
borderline were doing that when they first named the Kabuki Warriors and the music changed the way it was. I thought
Well,
that was getting borderline. But the
but
women, Asuka and Kari, played through so well that it was
Mhm.
fine. But I felt
Yeah.
like that the original presentation when they first announced Kabuki Warriors, I was like, this feels a little insensitive.
yeah. Well, at least they weren't called Oriental.
I
This is true,
I
producer.
I think also at the time the commentary was adding to that, which is why you because yeah, that's what I remember.
Commentary was probably fueling my fire. That could be.
Yeah.
That could be. Yeah, and I don't think that this is being insensitive. It does remind me a lot of those old movies and stuff, and I think that she looks like a fucking badass when she's doing it. There's nothing like goofy about it
Yeah.
at all. Like at first when you start to see it, you're like, is this kind of a and you're like, never mind, I'm scared. I'm scared. Never mind. Never mind. I'll
Yeah.
shut up.
You know
I'm
what it
scared.
reminds me of
Go ahead.
is Kill Bill,
Yeah.
Uma Thurman's character, because she's just like badass. Maybe that's a bad, like comparison too.
No.
But that just I get that feeling. Like
I like that she's going through the weapons because she started out with those weird spikes before, and this time she came up with like a bow staff, and she's doing like stuff with it where you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
In the chat, real quick, says Splinter Fox misses American Alpha. I mean, Jordan got hurt real bad, but yeah, there was other weird stuff going on with him. He says he misses the NXT Baz. I don't know what that one is. I think I must have said something a minute ago that I forgot about already. I drink, so let's see. Justin says he loves Xia Li, the presentation, the aggression. She's got future women's champion contender, possibly even champion written all over her. I agree. I think there's no stopping a character like that. She's got a crazy level. She's got like Ronda Rousey legitimacy without us having to see her knock out a fucking dozen women first.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. And Splinter Fox thinks, Shayna. He misses Shayna in NXT, yeah. But he says Maiko Satomura is who he thinks the mystery lady is. I think it's very, very possible that that's the case.
I've never thought that.
We know that she signed up with NXT UK to be a trainer, so it's possible that she's around.
Mhm.
And we know she's fucking badass. So we know that. But I don't think that I'm kind of a neither here nor there kind of mentality about it. I don't have a solid placement of my own viewing of it to say whether yay or nay. I think that that's very possible. And I think if that's true, if that comes to fruition, it'll be dope. I have nothing against it. I just don't know. We see so little and it is so mysterious that I'm having a hard time even assigning a gender to that person that's on the top of the ramp.
Yeah. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. And I'm just terrified of it.
All I know is it's like this is something badass, and it's either if it doesn't have a cool payoff, then I don't know. But
Correct.
it's going to.
And I think actually Splinter makes a great point. If it's not her, I hope they never reveal the mystery lady. And I think that's actually a great point. If you don't have a tremendous reveal, let it be fucking scary mystery forever. We don't need a reveal in this one.
Yeah, I don't feel like it needs to be shown if it's not amazing.
That's true too, because I don't know where you go with it. Like, let's say it is. Where do you go with it? A match between Xia and Maiko? Which could be good, so maybe. But if it's not her, it doesn't fucking matter. Let her just be the crazy fucking entity, whoever it is. Who was the one in AEW that was with the mustache? The woman with the mustache?
Oh God, what's her name?
Emi Sakura.
Yeah.
Could be Emi Sakura. That'd be wild.
I doubt it's Rio, even though she's not with Stardom anymore.
That would be funny. I would love it if it turned out to be Riho. That would be
That'd be
so
hilarious.
fucking funny. Let's see. Justin does say in the chat, I still think it would be weird if it's Maiko, with it being a group of Chinese while Maiko is Japanese. I could see that. Gives me the whole NXT just went with the Japanese Chinese is the same thing moment. That's true too. If it is, that could come off weird for sure. Which also would lay into the idea of maybe we just don't ever find out, and that's okay, because maybe we just avoid that whole thing. But either way, it's a bunch of scary motherfuckers. I'm gonna be honest.
Yep.
So I'm loving it. I think it's so good. I think that, yeah, Xia Li could be champion. She's a fucking threat. Here's the other weird bit, though. I will give Splinter Fox this because I know he'll shit on me if I don't. Shayna Baszler was a mean motherfucker in NXT, an honest-to-God threat who you thought could murder everyone, and has not played out on the main roster that way. I still think there's time. I still think we could get there, but I do think that. What do you mean? Why is that?
I mean, well, because I don't watch the main roster, so
she's just goofing off with Nia Jax doing dumb shit. She wins some, loses some. It's not even it's. Yeah, it's just, it's whatever it is. She's never in contention for the title. She still's only fought Becky the once for the title, and that was kind of it. Like, it's just she hasn't come off as a major threat there, which is a shame because she's a fucking mean motherfucker.
I know. She's badass.
But that's my concern is because I think that Xia is so badass. I'm like, she doesn't need to stay in NXT. She could go anywhere. But
they're not going to know what to do with her because it's going to be this bullshit.
They may not know what to do with it. So, let's see. The battle between her and Xia over good and bad could be good. Justin does say would give him credibility. Splinter Fox says, Xia got crazy built too. Look at her in the classic. Oh, 100%. I remember when she came out in the Rumble. We were right there second row for 2019 Rumble. She came out. And I remember thinking, like, I have no idea who this Chinese lady is. But I remember by the end of her stint in there, I remember we were looking at each other going, damn, she's good. Where's she? How come I've never seen her before? And so when she showed back up on the main roster, it was like, or not main roster, but in NXT, I was excited, but then she disappeared again. But if you watch on her Instagram, she was just training and training and training. I was like, man, she's getting pretty cut. Yeah, her coming back looking like she's looking is like, she's a fucking threat. So I'm into that. I think it's really good. Shayna being a vampire at the bat. Splinter Fox says she was in the classic. Yeah, but I didn't watch the classic. I didn't watch all of the Mae Young classic. I watched some of it, and plus I didn't recognize her from it from the get go from when I saw her jump into the Rumble. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say about Xia other than fucking keep it going. Never stop this. And then the main event was Undisputed Era versus Breezango. Undisputed Era won. Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch came out to fuck around with Kyle O'Reilly. Finn Balor came out there to protect Pete Dunne, and it was kind of a big schmaz. But ultimately, Undisputed Era wins this one. As much as this was all kind of cool, and I want to see how it kind of plays out, I was also I wasn't as excited about any of this as I was about Xia or MSK. This was just more of the same, and we see where it goes, and kind of okay. Does that make sense? What do you think, Amanda?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt the same way. I mean, especially because of where you had the MSK match, it's like almost like, oh, you're get let down. But then you have Xia, and it's like, oh no, this is great. And then, oh, okay, we're back. Yeah. So it was very roller coaster. It just went back into the station.
I mean, this match was good and all, but it wasn't anything I didn't expect it to be.
Yeah, I mean,
I wasn't blown away by it. It's fine. It was a good match, but okay. So,
it's just another day at the shop.
Yeah, it did feel a lot like that.
It's another day at the shop. Oh, we're wrestling. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Oh, the baddies are going to come out. Okay. Yeah, that's like Gargano. He's very passive. Like, okay, it's another day at the office. All right.
Yeah.
Skating by. Yeah.
100%. I mean, to be honest, and I do think the NXT was really good. It did feel a little more special than the average Dynamite, or not the average Dynamite, but the average NXT, but not a lot because we are doing the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Next week, they've announced they're doing the Women's Dusty Rhodes Classic. And we've got a few cool pairings there. They announced that Shotzi and Ember Moon are going to be a team. Mm-hmm. Excited to see that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do feel like Ember's been start and stop for a long time, so I do think that her teaming up with someone young and fresh could be good for both of them. We'll see how that goes. Toni Storm's pairing with Mercedes Martinez, which is a really strange pairing to me, but I'm excited to see how that plays out because both of them are incredible.
That's really strange, but it's so good when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't remember the other two teams off the top of my head because those are the two that stood out to me. But we're gonna get a couple matches this next week, for that. So we'll go over those. But yeah, I'm gonna send you a roster, the bracket, so you can put in your predictions here, and we'll just see where we go from there. Was there anything you thought we missed that you wanted to make sure we talked about? Go ahead.
No, but Grizzly Young Vets was who I was going for in that match anyway before even seeing it. So, but yeah, I'll do a little brackety brack. But yeah, no, I think for the win, it's gonna be MSK because there's just no way. If they don't pull the trigger on that, then I'll be a little disappointed.
I actually agree. Even before knowing it was the Rascals, I had put MSK, to be honest. I posted it. It's online. I can't fake it. I had posted them as going the whole way towards the end because I was like, I have a feeling this tournament's going to be well suited for whoever this team is, because why else would they have this surprise team like this? Then when I saw them, I was all like, oh, they're stupid if they don't win the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's nothing, there's not a team like that in the whole tournament.
100%.
So, and actually,
outside of the tournament, there's not a team like that at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, even on the main roster, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to go to the other people.
Yeah. Justin does say in the chat, Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell were the other two teams, and that's right. Those are two solid teams. I think it's going to go to Candice and Indy, but I really like Casey and Caden. I want to see them do more.
Yeah.
So I hope, and they actually cut a really good promo. They had a promo last night too, where they said, please underestimate us. We're loving it. Don't think much of us. This is how we win. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them win.
It would. I wouldn't mind if they took it the whole thing, just as like these kind of women tag team Daniel Bryan type underdog story.
Yeah,
I'd love it. I think that both of them are incredible. I think they're both underutilized. We just don't see them enough, and I think they're fantastic every time we do see them. So yeah, I'm all for that. Amanda, was there anything that we missed?
No, I think we ran the whole gamut of things.
Yeah, I think we chewed this one down to the bone.
Yeah. It just was a lame night of, AEW. It was it was okay. There's a lot of lameness. But if I were to have to say which were the better show, I'd probably say, just because of the two matches, NXT was probably just kicked it in the butt.
Yeah, NXT had me fired up. AEW had me questioning what's going on around here.
Yeah.
Also, though, from your standpoint, though, I mean, AEW ended with your boy getting whooped down with a bat.
Yeah, but I don't want to see my boy getting whooped down with a bat. No.
That's what I mean. That's got to be hard to get past. Like, I mean, even if let's imagine the show was good, and then you watch your boy catch an ass whooping with a bat from a 60-year-old man. The show's not going to be good at the end.
I know, but also you got to think. Okay, the guy's he's always okay. This is where I'm thinking he's going to part ways with Team Taz because he takes the pin. Okay, he's now gotten hit by a 60-year-old man with a bat.
Yeah.
Okay, knocked the shit out of him, and like he's like chopped liver in that team because he
needs to break away. He needs to break away.
He's going to break away, and I think that that's the opportunity because honestly, like you have Taz as the mouthpiece, and then every once in a while, you let Ricky talk, but it doesn't do anything for him. It doesn't do anything really for Team Taz. But it's better.
I actually do think it'd be good if he broke away and we had some promos with Taz against Ricky, where Ricky could really lay into Taz.
Yeah,
and Taz
that'd be great.
Look, boy, you know what I mean?
Boy, yeah.
And you could have Ricky being, look, old man.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great if Taz allowed him to speak, because I do see a lot of these guys who just get mic timed for mic time's sake, who trample over the other person because they think it makes them alpha, but really just makes them a piece of shit. Like you see Drew McIntyre do it all the time. Yeah. Someone else will come out with a mic and start cutting a promo, and then no matter what they say, he's like, oh, "Okay, mate," and you're like, "Shut up, let this guy talk for a second." And I feel like that Taz might be the type to be like, "No, hold on. Are you about to say?" And you're like, "No, shut up."
No. I think that's.
But that's speculation. It could go either way.
That is total speculation. But honestly, I think that that's the way to go with him. So you have that, because I don't see Darby is not, I'm sorry, he's not a marketable champion. I wouldn't like if they are going back to having that belt should be defended almost every week. But if they're going back to that, Darby Allin is not a reason for me to tune in every week.
He's not. I don't think he has the work rate that Ricky has either. I mean, seeing Ricky do 7 matches in 2 days was enough for me to know that he could do a match a week and put on a good one.
Yeah, 3 in one night, and look like a boss just on the pay-per-view night alone, looking like a boss. 100%. I mean that, but I'm not saying this because whatever. I'm just saying it's because I think that honestly, like that's why they signed him, because they finally saw that value in him. And it's just, you have to let it shine. And I think that's everybody that they've been signing and bringing in. Because I did they officially like sign Griff Garrison? I don't think they did. But he works so well with Pillman. Well with Pillman. It works for me. And
I don't think they've officially signed Pillman either, to be honest.
Oh, well, they act as if they are, because they got the cool, they have their matching gear now and all that, and the varsity.
Well, yeah, and he got rid of the OVW title.
Yeah.
Let's hit up the chat and wrap it up. Let's see. Yeah. Splinter Fox says that he thinks Mini Rock, as he calls Ricky, Raquito, is not going to leave Team Taz. He thinks Sammy will leave Inner Circle before Ricky leaves Team Taz. He goes, they'll both be babyfaces soon. I'm calling it.
No.
And he says that Mini Rock is amazing talking during Dark. I kind of agree with what you're saying. I don't think Sammy's going to leave. I think Sammy adores Jericho and is going to do whatever it takes to stay around him from like a real standpoint, not from like a TV standpoint.
Yeah, no.
Justin says Ricky Starks does feel like the odd man out in Team Taz, and I agree with that too. I feel like that he doesn't get as much out of that team as the others get. And Splinter Fox says over Darby and Orange, Sammy and Mini Rock is the real future. I don't have a disagreement there, to be honest. It goes, they can't sign him yet until MLW contract is over. I don't understand contracts. I've made that very clear. The one thing I don't know anything about is contracts.
I thought he was free from MLW, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. In my mind,
I know Davey Boy Smith is. And to be quite honest,
he's a free agent.
I don't like Archer. Archer's better in a tag team with Davey Boy Smith than he is doing singles.
Are they a tag?
Oh yeah, they've been a tag for years. Killer Elite Squad. Right.
Do you think Davey Boy, now that he's a free agent, you think he goes back to WWE like he was born to be, or do you think he goes to AEW first?
It's a very hard one. I think
I think it's such a coin toss.
It's a coin toss because they didn't do anything with him really, then.
Yeah, but but that's the argument too, right? So with Morrison, he comes back and they don't do shit with him, and he comes back. But other people come back and they do big things because they came back. The other thing is TJ Wilson was doing an interview not that long ago saying he's begging Davey Boy to come back. He really wants Davey Boy back. And if you got TJ Wilson pushing for you, that sounds good.
That's
to me.
His best friend. That's his old tag partner. But honestly, what would they do with him? That's why I hate Morrison over there. I love Johnny. Insert his name here. That he's one that I think, it's great to see him in the Miz again, but quite honestly, it's like that shit ran its course.
Yeah. That ran its course 10 years
Maybe he's
ago.
funding a new movie and that's why he's with WWE. I don't know.
I think their pairing
Boone was pretty good.
I think their pairing actually does both of them a disservice.
Yeah. I think they're both better without each other, to be honest. I think they bring each other down. They become sophomoric and weird. But that's a conversation for our Tuesday show. Because on Tuesday, we shit on Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. We just shit on AEW and NXT.
Yeah. Thursdays, we shit on NXT and AEW. Tuesdays, we shit on Raw and SmackDown. I'm just kidding. We celebrate all of wrestling here. We love it all. Even if I'm not into it, I'm hoping to find conversation with people who are into it, because either you'll help me see what I'm missing, or we'll just agree to disagree and have a drink about it and still remain friends. That's the whole point of all this. Sprinter Fox going wild in the chat about Johnny Impact. making money. Pillman Jr. Yeah, Splitter Fox going wild in there. He's loving it. I agree with him though. Where Ricky Starks is the future, guys.
Sure, damn
the whole
is.
point of this. Yeah, 100%. Every time I hear him talk, I'm like, this is it. But guys, come back, join us on Tuesday for another drink. While we yell about wrestling, a little bit of pointless aggression. Pick up your shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingontherocks. Check out our website, wrestlingontherocks.com. Check out all of our links at wrestlingontherocks.com to find us. Oh, just in time, getting one in real quick. Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer reuniting in AEW would make more sense. With Tyson Kidd being retired, I don't see WWE doing anything with him, especially as a single star. And Splitter Fox again, Mini Rock, Sammy, MJF. Those are his favorites. I don't know, man. I'll be honest. If he shows up as a singles I'd be more excited to see Davey Boy as a single star than as a tag star. So if he showed up in NXT or main roster as a single star, I'm super curious to see where that goes. I think he's got a great personality. I think he's tremendous in the ring. If he shows up in AEW and tags up with Lance Archer, I'm going to watch because I'm interested in them as well. Guys, I think we've done it. I think we've drank all we can drink. We've yelled all we can yell. And I think we will be back. Well, you didn't drink enough, Amanda.
I did in the beginning.
You tapered off.
She's like, this isn't so much a slushy as just rum with some ice, flavored ice.
Yeah, that slushy melted. Guys, thank you for coming through. Thank you for having a drink with us. We'll see you next time. That's last call, guys. Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.